This page is the front cover of SEGA Saturn Magazine, Volume 13, from December 8, 1995. It's celebrating the SEGA Saturn's first-year anniversary, with a special feature, SEGA Saturn First Year, which seems to be a catalog of 120 SEGA Saturn games released within the first year. There's also a big feature article titled, All About Virtua Fighter 2, promising unreleased scoop screenshots, and claiming it's the true essence of the Saturn version. They are also doing a big giveaway for the anniversary, giving away Virtua Fighter 2 Saturn copies and software maker goods to 100 lucky readers. The cover also teases other games being covered in the magazine, including Guardian Heroes, Dark Savior, Dragon Force, Mobile Suit Gundam, The King of Fighters 95, Wolffang, Quo Vadis, and Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner. Additionally, it mentions SEGA Rally Championship and Street Fighter Zero as special reports, and highlights a game called SEGA Chicha Cop, which seems to be a featured title. There is also something about a Dragon Ball Z game, Dragon Ball Z, Idai Naru, Dragon Ball Densetsu, and King the Spirit's World Advanced Strategy. Finally, there is mention of a special appendix, a God Legends special poster. This page is dedicated to Virtua Fighter 2 for the SEGA Saturn, continuing the hype from the front cover. It's packed with screenshots showcasing the Saturn version of the game, highlighting in-game action and different stages. You can see many of the iconic characters like Jackie, Sarah, Pai, Lao, and others in dynamic poses. The page emphasizes ultimate fighting action experiences and claims you can experience the strongest fighting action on the Saturn. It mentions that Virtua Fighter 2, which caused a boom in arcades, is coming to the Saturn. It points out that AM2, the original developers, are handling the Saturn port, promising to fully utilize the Saturn's capabilities for the best fighting action. There's a section about a new feeling and impact with the Saturn version, mentioning it runs at 60 frames per second, and all character moves are available. It talks about game modes including arcade, versus, and team battle modes, mentioning 5 vs 5 team battles are possible. It also highlights that the AI opponent learns player techniques, offering an expert mode. Release date is mentioned as December 1st, priced at 6,800 yen, labeled as a fighting action game. There's also a TV advertisement announcement on TV Tokyo every Monday, from 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. This page is all about SEGA Rally Championship for the SEGA Saturn, announcing the arrival of the popular arcade game to home consoles. It emphasizes the huge support from driving game fans and highlights the SEGA Rally Championship as coming soon to the SEGA Saturn. The text mentions that the original arcade version was a big hit, and now this authentic rally game, SEGA Rally Championship, is coming to the SEGA Saturn quickly. It boasts original work graphics, meaning it will look just like the arcade. It also mentions that you can race in iconic cars, like the Celica GT4 and Lancia Delta, in beautiful graphics unique to the SEGA Saturn. The advert also says arcade mode is included, of course, and that there are SEGA Saturn original elements to enjoy too. The release date for SEGA Rally Championship is set for December 29th, with a price of 5,800 yen. There are screenshots showing in-game action, with the Toyota Celica and Lancia Delta racing on the dirt tracks, showcasing the cockpit view and chase view, plus some of the on-screen race information. At the bottom, there's a note about a Brain Direct Hit Tour event from November 23rd to December 24th, and an in-store tournament event starting in mid-November in stores with special stickers. This page spotlights Taquashindin for the SEGA Saturn, a 3D fighting game. The tagline highlights its dramatic evolution by coming to the SEGA Saturn. Published by Takara, it's a new release priced at 5,800 yen. Below the title are illustrations showcasing a range of distinct characters from the game. The description mentions it's a popular 3D fighting game that features unique characters like Ellis and Sophia. It boasts new additions, such as a story mode and a legend mode, expanding on what was previously unknown about the characters' secrets and reasons for fighting, which can be enjoyed through CG movies. Notably, there are also original characters exclusive to the SEGA Saturn version. The screenshots at the bottom demonstrate the 3D fighting gameplay in action, and at the bottom right, we see the SEGA Saturn console itself, reinforcing that this exciting fighting experience is coming to the platform. This page is dedicated to Return to Zork, an interactive adventure game heading to both SEGA Saturn and PlayStation. The page starts by teasing that it all began with a letter. It's advertised as a legendary underground Empire Zork invitation, hinting at the game's deep narrative. The advert details the release for both consoles in February '96, with the Sega Saturn version priced at 5,800 yen, and the PlayStation version slightly higher at 6,800 yen. It explains that back in 1980, Zork was a text-based adventure game on PCs, and this version brings it into the visual realm, calling it a visual adventure game. We can see screenshots highlighting the interactive nature of the game, showing different facial expressions representing reactions like anger, confusion, and happiness. The bottom of the page highlights key features like impressive CG and live-action movie integration, smooth full-motion video, and a user-friendly interface. It emphasizes that the gameplay is simple to grasp but with depth. The game is published by Activision, and the advert clearly aims to build excitement for this new visual take on the classic Zork adventure. This page introduces a new strategy game called Hexa, promising to revolutionize the genre with its new systems. It emphasizes freedom in map movement, breaking away from traditional hex-based grids. The game allows for deep unit customization, not just in weaponry but also in parameters that change depending on how you play. Combat is described as strategic, with unit formations and experience systems impacting gameplay. The game boasts a full multi-scenario, multi-ending structure, suggesting a branching narrative where player choices heavily influence the outcome and drama. The page also lists the voice cast, featuring Jin Maru Ichido, Akio Otsuka, Inoue Kazuhiko, Kasahara Yuri, Hiramatsu Akiko, Takano Urara, Yajima Akiko, Yana Kazumi, and Shibata Hidekatsu. These are the voice talents, bringing the characters to life in this strategy title. Overall, the page highlights Hexa's innovative game systems and story depth, positioning it as a significant title within the strategy game landscape. This page showcases an advert for Gotha 2, Knights of the Sky, a game by Koei for the Sega Saturn. It's presented as a new Gotha world that surpasses the original, boasting impressive graphics and a grand new story. The tagline emphasizes it as a simulation game for a new generation. The advert highlights it's coming next spring, but the price is still undecided. We can see the game's logo prominently displayed with a golden triangle design, and there's a screenshot featuring what looks like a futuristic aircraft or mecha. It seems to be aiming for a grand, simulation-focused experience. The bottom also mentions Micronet as the planning and development company and Koryo Company Limited as the general sales company. This page is an advert for Admiral's Decision 2, a WW2 strategy game from Koei, making its way to the Sega Saturn after being a hit on PC. They're emphasizing the enhanced scale and systems, promising even more depth than the original. The game boasts famous voice actors for narration and historical footage to add realism. It seems to focus on smooth gameplay and new features to bring a fresh challenge. The advert shows off some dramatic naval battle scenes and Japanese warplanes. It's slated for release in January of '96, but the price is still to be decided. They also provide ordering information for those interested, including details for phone orders and accepted credit cards like JCB, Visa, MasterCard, and BC. This page is all about Nobunaga's Ambition, Rise to Power, a historical simulation game for the Sega Saturn. It's a visually striking advert, with a massive eagle dominating the page. They're boasting about real-life footage and completely redone CG visuals for this new installment, promising a visually updated experience. It's mentioned that the Kasho Kyoiku system from previous games is still there but enhanced, offering even deeper strategic gameplay. You can see some in-game screenshots demonstrating the graphical style. The game is being heavily promoted and is priced at 9,800 yen. It's from Koei, and clearly for the Sega Saturn. This page showcases Genki D Drive, a Sega Saturn title that's all about drift polygon car action. The page is splashed with vibrant imagery of high-speed racing on coastal highways, really emphasizing the drifting aspect. It boasts drift polygon car action right under the game logo. The game is set to be released on December 15th and priced at 6,800 yen. It highlights racing controller compatibility and focuses on the excitement of two-player versus mode. They're really pushing the split-screen two-player battles, calling it Overheat and showcasing it with dual screenshots in the bottom section. The game is also touting Victor 3 Drephonic sound for an immersive audio experience. Adding to the unique flavor, they mention 10 real beautiful girls will be in the game, seemingly as side passengers, and show small photos of women and their names below the gameplay screenshots. It looks like a fast-paced, visually striking racer, aiming for arcade excitement, especially in multiplayer. This page highlights a selection of games from Koei. At the top, it's all about winning Post X, a horse racing simulation game. They're calling it the pinnacle of the genre, aimed at everyone from beginners to experts. It boasts realistic and dramatic gameplay using actual photographs and up-to-date 95 season data, and it's priced at 6,800 yen. Below that, they showcase Koei's value set, called EMIT. This package includes 3 games: Volume 1, Toki no Meiro, Volume 2, Inochi ga Tabisuru, and Volume 3, Watashi ni Sayonara o, bundled together for 15,800 yen, with a release date set for December 15th. Individually, these volumes are priced at 8,800 yen each. Finally, on the right side, they feature Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV, emphasizing its epic historical Chinese setting and calling it a masterpiece of historical simulation strategy games. This one is priced at 14,800 yen and is also available for the Super 32X add-on. This page is an advertisement for Rayman on the Sega Saturn. It's calling it a new fantastic scroll action game and highlights Rayman as a stylish new hero. The ad mentions that Rayman is French, boasting polished graphics across all stages, and there are 6 stages in total. It describes battles unfolding and the beautiful scenery as you aim to retrieve the Electoons to restore peace to the land. The screenshots give you a peek at the colorful and varied levels. It's also announced as being currently on sale and is published by UBI Soft for the Sega Saturn. The next page is for Deacon 5, advertised as a simulation real-time RPG, and boasting the tagline, "This is a game only smart guys can play." It's announced as scheduled for release in February 1996, with an estimated price of 5,800 yen, excluding tax. The advert features a large silhouette head filled with gameplay screenshots from the game, which appears to be a first-person perspective sci-fi experience. Published by Multisoft, Deacon 5 is confirmed to be released on Sega Saturn, PlayStation, and 3DO. This page is a full-page advertisement for the game Death Mask, which is described as a cinematic adventure game. It's slated for release in January 1996, simultaneously worldwide for both PlayStation and Sega Saturn, coming on 3 discs for each platform. The advert heavily features a large, menacing skull-like mask design and screenshots that hint at a futuristic, possibly dystopian setting. The tagline in bold red Japanese reads something like, "In the city of death, consciousness wanders," setting a dark and intriguing tone. The text details a story set in 2016, where a long Mars war has ended, leaving Earth devastated and its population controlled by government propaganda after conflict with artificial humans. The screenshots show FMV sequences typical of these types of adventure games, and the ad mentions Hind Theater and Blend Theater, which are likely features related to the game's presentation or visual style. Overall, it's a very dramatic advert promising a mature and immersive cinematic experience for players on both Saturn and PlayStation. This page is an advertisement for 2 anime series being released on video CD. The top half promotes Ashita no Joe 2, Tomorrow's Joe 2, stating it's available now on sale as a video CD box set of 16 discs containing 47 episodes in total. Individual volumes and a complete box set are priced, ranging from 2,800 yen for a single volume to 59,800 yen for the whole set. The bottom half of the page advertises Shin Ace wo Nere, Aim for the Ace, new series, announcing its release in October 95 as a video CD box set with 9 discs and 25 episodes. Similar to Ashita no Joe 2, it lists prices for individual volumes and the complete box set, from 2,800 yen per volume to 32,200 yen for the entire set. The ad highlights that these video creds are compatible with playback control functions, specifically mentioning Video CD Ver 2.0. Super Real Mahjong Graffiti for Sega Saturn is a mahjong game featuring characters from the arcade hits Super Real Mahjong, P2, P2I, and PIV. This single Credrom game allows players to interact with 6 girls from the series. The game showcases graphics by Tanaka Ryoichi. Step 2 introduces a character named Shouta and nostalgic elements.
Step 2I highlights the Kishizawa sisters and their popularity. PIF features 3 new girls with improved graphics, with the Sega Saturn version including a sauna scene after the games. The game includes a bonus section with adjustable difficulty, time limits, and in-game setting changes, with ending movies for each. An advertisement for the PS Club fan club, offering membership cards and items, is also present. The game's price is listed as 8,800 yen, excluding tax. This page showcases the upcoming Sega Saturn title, Tenchi Muyo, Mitama Onsen Yumeguri no Tabi, advertised as the second Saturn edition. It's described as an adventure and simulation game, featuring over 2,500 animation frames, fully original artwork, and scenarios with 15 branching paths. The game boasts popular voice actors from the TV anime, and promises hidden endings with gorgeous anime girl characters, which are revealed under certain conditions. The page details a buy, send, and win campaign for the game, offering prizes like telephone cards and ballpoint pens to 1,000 winners, alongside original B1 posters and postcards. There's also a W campaign mentioned, and a first-round campaign featuring a Tenchi Muyo Ryuki Kledrum. Lucky draw prizes include life-size character posters and family telephone cards. The bottom of the page includes a recruitment section looking for development staff in programming, graphics, sound, and planning, specifying requirements like experience and salary details. Next to it is a U-Media information section titled, Rescue the Crying Brothers, mentioning an annual membership and contact information for Aroma Company. The December 8, 1995 issue, Volume 13, of Sega Saturn Magazine features a 34-page special on Virtua Fighter 2 for the Saturn, including exclusive details. The magazine also includes a report on games like Sega Rally Championship and Street Fighter Zero, and a look back at the Saturn's first anniversary, showcasing 120 titles. The new release title section highlights recently released games such as NBA Jam Tournament Edition and Creature Shock. Coming soon software previews upcoming titles, including Guardian Heroes, Dragon Force, and The King of Fighters 95. Other sections include a software guide, a reader giveaway for Virtua Fighter 2, and regular features like news, a Q&A, software reviews, and details on AM2 Research Express Neo. This page is an advertisement for the Hisatsu Pachinko collection on Sega Saturn. It boasts bringing 6 super popular pachinko machines from Daiichi Shokai and Fuji Shoji to the console. The advertisement mentions that they have realistically recreated the graphics and sounds of actual pachinko halls, aiming to satisfy pachinko fans with numerous modes and even support for Nifty Serve forum events and rankings. The ad showcases screenshots of several pachinko machines featured in the collection, including Dance Dance 2, CR Big Slaughter 2, Arisen, Excite, Sunrise, and Areshinmen. It also mentions a dedicated Saturn Santana pad controller specifically for pachinko games. The Hisatsu Pachinko collection for PlayStation is listed with a release date of late January 96 and a price of 6,800 yen. The Super Famicom version, Hisatsu Pachinko Collection 3, is already out and well received, priced at 9,980 yen. This page announces that the Sega Saturn is getting online capabilities, with both Sega/Fujitsu and Japan Victor developing modems. This will allow Saturn owners to connect to PC communication networks like NiftyServe and participate in online services, including virtual spaces like Habitat and online RPGS. NTT Visual Communications is even planning to launch an online food shopping service for Saturn users. The page also highlights the Brain Direct Hit Tour, a promotional event traveling across Japan during November and December. This tour is visiting various locations and cities, including Sapporo, Nagasaki, Fukuoka, Sendai, Hiroshima, Osaka, and many others, hitting game stores and entertainment spots. Finally, we are introduced to Mink, a self-described indoor person, singer, and avid Sega Saturn fan, who especially enjoys RPGs and adventure games, and is a fan of the band X Japan. The page also mentions the use of the internet and PikeFan in educational settings. Sega Saturn news includes several announcements. A Princess Crown tournament took place November 9th. GameSoul, a store selling game-related merchandise, is opening a new location in Akihabara in December, with plans to expand. The TV Game Fair 95 in Fukuoka Dome on December 2nd and 3rd will feature Virtua Fighter 2 tournaments and creator talks. A cashback campaign offers 5,000 yen back for Saturn purchases from November 15, 1995 to January 15, 1996. A Sega Arcade Selection Dram Remix CD with arranged music from classic arcade games is releasing December 1st. Upcoming releases include music from Mink, Akimi Iwazaki, Takao Konishi, and Rie Tanaka. Games mentioned include Magical Drop, Dunk Dream 95, Similody from SimCity 2000, and Tekken 2 for the Saturn. This page is a promotional announcement for SEGA Saturn Magazine, becoming a bi-monthly publication. To celebrate, they're holding a massive giveaway of 100 copies of Virtua Fighter 2 software for readers. The page details how to enter the draw. Readers need to cut out the application ticket from the page, affix it to a postcard, and send it to the provided address with their details such as postcode, address, name, age, and phone number. Deadline for entries is December 22, 1995, and winners will be announced in the magazine issue released on January 26. The page features screenshots of Virtua Fighter 2, showcasing the action and characters, along with images of a Sega Saturn console and game disc to further emphasize the prize. It's a great way to encourage readership and celebrate the magazine's growth, while giving away a highly sought-after game at the time, Virtua Fighter 2, which is a flagship title for the Sega Saturn. This page showcases the Sega Saturn Top 10 software sales chart and the Top 5 arcade game rankings. Taking the top spot in Saturn software is SimCity 2000, followed by Wing Arms and World Advanced War, Iron Storm. Other popular titles in the chart include Virtua Fighter Kids, Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness, Twinbee Yahoo Deluxe Pack, Virtua Fighter Remix, Idol Janshi Tsuchiyapai Remix, and Rayforce. The magazine notes the strong sales of Sega Saturn and anticipates continued momentum towards the end of the year, highlighting the popularity of the Virtua Fighter CG Portrait series. Moving to the arcade scene, Virtua Fighter 2.1 dominates the top spot, followed by Iron Man 2, likely Railway Gunner 2, Virtua Cop 2, Street Fighter Alpha, and Virtua Fighter 2. The article discusses the anticipation for new arcade releases around November and December, mentioning titles like Ivor, Charon, and Menkusu TT, and highlighting the exciting future developments from Sega AM2 Research. It seems the writer is very enthusiastic about the current state and future of both Sega Saturn and arcade gaming. This page presents two distinct top game charts from user data collected by SEGA Saturn Magazine. The first chart, User Data Top 20 Want to Convert, lists games players wish to see ported to the Sega Saturn. Leading the pack is the dating sim series Dukyu Usei, followed by Tekken, Final Fantasy, and Dragon Quest series. Other notable games in this wish list include Virtua Striker, Indy 500, Ridge Racer, oh my goddess, Super Robot Wars, and Policenauts. The second chart, Sega Saturn Hopeful New Soft Top 15, showcases the most anticipated upcoming Sega Saturn titles. Virtua Fighter 2 takes the top spot as expected, with Sega Rally Championship and Darkstalkers, the Night Warriors following closely behind. The list also includes King of Fighters 95, Street Fighter Alpha, Guardian Heroes, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, Tokimeki Memorial, Mobile Suit Gundam, and Sakura Wars. Own the Gudges. The page also highlights excitement for upcoming arcade ports of Virtua Fighter and Fighting Vipers, noting their imminent release. Furthermore, it emphasizes the strong performance of Sega Saturn software in general, especially mentioning the popularity of Virtua Fighter 2 and the ongoing buzz surrounding its release and success. The bottom right corner also features a check section focusing on Street Fighter Alpha and Quo Vadis with screenshots. The Odds Table Saturn page provides a user-voted ranking of Sega Saturn games, with Virtua Fighter at the top. The site explains its reader voting system, ensuring fair rankings. The page primarily focuses on game reviews, including Nobunaga's Ambition, Heavenly Records, strategy game praised for its depth, Idol Janshi Tsuchiyapai Remix, Mahjong game with anime characters but with some CPU issues, Golden Axe, The Duel, a fighting game with mixed reviews, Blue Chicago Blues, an adventure game with visual appeal but slow-paced, and Cridrom for Sega Saturn Tenchi Muyo, Ryuki in Love,
Gorgeous Gokuraku Edition, a fan disc for hardcore fans. A small news item announces Virtua Fighter's return to the top ranking. This page provides Sega Saturn game reviews and reader engagement features. Reviews cover Metal Fighter Miku, a cinematic adventure with some story drawbacks, and Wing Arms, Magnificent Winged King, a visually impressive shooter. Reader comments and discussions focus on games like Remix and Virtua Fighter 1, with a hint of a related upcoming surprise. The page also features reader competitions, including a game ranking prediction contest, with prizes like joysticks and bargeman sets. An odds table highlights popular Saturn accessories, with the fighting stick SS leading, followed by the Sega Saturn control pad and Fighting Commander SS. Additional reviews cover F1 Live Information, praised for realism but criticized for difficulty, and Puyo Puyo 2, known for its addictive gameplay and customization. This page is dedicated to Virtua Fighter 2, and it's a big feature proclaiming all about Virtua Fighter 2. It looks like a preview of the Saturn version, hyping it up as something that will let you enjoy the game 500 times more, which is a bit over the top, but that's marketing for you. They're calling it a special feature right before release, so it's definitely a hype piece. The page layout shows off all the main fighters, a real who's who of Virtua Fighter. You've got Cage, Sarah, Lau, Wolf, Shundai, Jackie, Jeffrey, Pei, Lion, Akira, and Dural, all featured prominently. It seems to be breaking down content into sections like Everything About Saturn, VF2, Beginner's Guide, All Character Guide, and even a development and sound interview, which sounds pretty in-depth for a magazine feature. It's promising a complete guide to the game in the Saturn magazine, aimed at getting players ready for the home release. This page is all about the final version of Virtua Fighter 2 on the Sega Saturn, and it's building excitement for its December 1st release. It's shouting about the Sega Saturn version Virtua Fighter 2 release started, which is likely in a promotional sense, meaning pre-orders and anticipation are high. There's a try next stage call to action, hinting at the next level of Virtua Fighter experience coming to home consoles, aiming for arcade perfection in home stages. The page highlights the advancements in this Saturn version, pointing out improved character, facial expressions, and hair movement, making the fighters more emotive and realistic during matches and when taking damage. They're also showing off the revamped selection screens, emphasizing the significant changes and improvements, including the addition of a team battle mode. Stage presentation is also getting an upgrade, with more elaborate stage effects and backgrounds to enhance the visual experience. Finally, it mentions compatibility with the FER 2.1 update from the arcade, bringing in 2 FI character color options, which is presented as a cool bonus feature for players who like to customize their experience. This page unveils exclusive details about the Saturn version of Virtua Fighter 2. The first highlight is the original CG movie, showcasing the tour motion technique that allows for smooth transitions between Virtua Fighter 1 and 2, particularly focusing on Sarah Bryant's design evolution. The second scoop reveals Golden Dural. Screenshots emphasize the enhanced stage backgrounds and visual fidelity, especially the Undersea Shrine. A checkpoint section discusses the meticulous porting quality, emphasizing faithful recreation of details from the arcade version. This includes replicating character poses, like the lying down pose, and nuanced details like Lau's flushed face when using his drunken style. Finally, comments from the AM2 R&D designers reveal the effort put into color nuances, especially for Golden Durals, hinting at advanced polygon techniques to achieve the desired visual quality. Virtua Fighter 2's second-player color palettes for all 10 characters are detailed. Each 2P color offers a distinct look. Pei loses her hat with detailed embroidery, Jackie sports a leather jacket, Wolf has a red panther symbol, Jeffrey appears more sophisticated, Sarah's look is vibrant, Cage's mask is removed, Akira gets a white outfit, Shun's colors shift dramatically, and Lion wears a life jacket vest. Developers emphasize the effort put into creating these alternate appearances. The page also showcases all 12 stages, faithful recreations of the arcade experience. These include the Great Wall, Coliseum, Yellow River, Martial Arts Stage, Palace, Coconut Beach, Herb Garden, Rocky Cliff, Canadian Rockies, Steel Iron Factory, Underwater Shrine, and the Extra Chicago Stage. Each stage offers a unique visual experience and ambiance. The Saturn version of Virtua Fighter 2 expands upon the arcade experience with several features. Checkpoint options allow for adjusting health, life gauge, match rounds, match point, time limits, time limit, and continue settings, continue. Game modes include a faithful arcade mode, an expert mode designed for skill development, the team-based team battle mode, the player versus mode, a score-focused ranking mode, and watch mode for spectating CPU battles. The option menu offers further customization. Players can select game versions, 2 or 2.1, adjust sound output and music, BGM, test sounds, disable the learning mode, customize button assignments, key assign, set enemy difficulty, enemy level, and manage game data with automatic saving, backup data. Virtua Fighter 2 for the Saturn boasts 3 notable game modes. Expert mode analyzes your play, learning your strategies, and tracking data to help you improve. Ranking mode offers a competitive experience, mirroring the arcade ranking system with Saturn-specific enhancements, allowing players to track their progress visually and strive for the top rank. Lastly, Team Battle Mode, a Saturn original, provides chaotic multiplayer fun for all skill levels. Enhanced CPU AI adds challenge, with the option for CPU versus CPU matches. Character strengths vary in this mode, encouraging diverse team compositions. A recovery setting adds strategic depth, impacting the flow of battles. Virtua Fighter 2 on SEGA Saturn receives high praise from expert players. Ikebukuro Sera lauds its near-arcade quality visuals, giving it a perfect score. Cake Snowstorm emphasizes the game's faithful gameplay translation, while acknowledging minor combo differences. Izakaya Cage appreciates its unique Saturn enhancements. London Kobayashi hails it as a Saturn masterpiece, highlighting its improved visuals and smooth frame rate compared to the arcade version. The reviews acknowledge minor differences from the arcade, but consistently declare it a top-tier port. The Super Player Check section recommends the Saturn pad for general play, but the Fighting Stick SS joystick is preferred for experienced players seeking more precise control. Veteran player Gaia Sato confirms the Saturn version's excellence, referencing her arcade board ownership. This page is a basic operation guide for Virtua Fighter 2. Continuing from the praise of the game on the previous page, it emphasizes the game's evolution from the first Virtua Fighter, highlighting the improved system and 60 frames per second gameplay for a more realistic fighting experience. The guide starts by explaining the simple yet strategic controls, detailing the use of the punch, kick, and throw buttons, and how these can be combined with directional inputs for different attacks like standing punches, low kicks, and command throws. It then discusses the 60 frames per second aspect, noting how it contributes to the game's realism and responsiveness. Akira's Collapse of the Iron Mountain move is used as an example to illustrate the game's frame data, breaking down the attack's startup, active frames, and recovery time, showing the depth of the combat system. The guide moves into basic character control, explaining the importance of spacing and movement in Virtua Fighter 2. It details various movement options, including normal walking, quick dashes, jumping, crouching, quick sidesteps, and turning around, providing controller inputs and descriptions for each, illustrating how players can maneuver effectively in the 3D space of the game. Overall, this page serves as an introductory lesson to the core mechanics of Virtua Fighter 2, building on the excitement generated by the previous page's reviews. This page continues the Virtua Fighter 2 guide, focusing on the fundamentals of attack. It explains that attacks in Virtua Fighter 2 are strategic, categorizing them into high, mid, and low attacks, each with its own purpose. The guide emphasizes the importance of reading your opponent and using counterattacks effectively. It highlights that simply mashing buttons won't work. You need to understand spacing and movement to create openings for attacks. The page then delves into combination attacks, introducing basic combos like punch-kick, PK, and punch-punch-kick, PPK, as fundamental techniques for all characters. It mentions that these combos are more effective in Virtua Fighter 2 and can lead to knockdowns. It also discusses the importance of jump attacks, which are more useful in this sequel, detailing different jump attack types for small and large jumps. Finally, the guide introduces the concept of delay fates, using Jackie's combo as an example. This technique involves varying the timing of button presses and combos to create unpredictable attacks and feint out opponents, adding a layer of depth to offensive strategies. In essence, this page is teaching players how to move beyond basic attacks and start thinking strategically about offense in Virtua Fighter 2. This Virtua Fighter 2 guide page focuses on advanced combat techniques, throws, reversals, and collapse moves. Throws are vital, even against guarding opponents, and require close proximity, within 1.5 meters, and utilize unique, character-specific moves. The guide categorizes throws: basic, command, from behind, and against crouching opponents.
Reversal and collapse moves are introduced as new features. Reversals counter specific attacks, while collapse moves break an opponent's stance. The guide explains when throws are effective, during an opponent's attack or recoil, but not during certain animation frames or against specific attacks. It also touches on context-sensitive automatic selection attacks. The page concludes by discussing stance, explaining how aligning with an opponent's foot direction facilitates throws but might make strikes less effective. Conversely, an opposite stance favors strikes but hinders throws, highlighting the strategic trade-offs of stance selection. This page continues the Virtua Fighter 2 guide, this time focusing on the guard button and its uses for defense and creating counterattack opportunities. It highlights that perfect guarding is key to offense. The guide details two main guard types: standing guard and crouching guard, explaining their effectiveness against different attacks. Standing guard is effective against high and mid-level attacks but not throws. Crouching guard defends against low and mid-level attacks but is vulnerable to high attacks and throws. It emphasizes that throws cannot be guarded in either stance. It also introduces special guard types: half guard and three-quarters guard, offering partial damage reduction. The page explains the yoromeki, or stagger mechanic, which occurs when certain attacks like body blows or middle kicks hit a guarding opponent, putting them in a staggered state and open for counterattacks. Finally, it covers important guard button and other uses, including quick movement adjustments while guarding, move canceling using the guard button, and combo applications. It specifically mentions PK cancel and PKG less than K, punch middle kick, as techniques utilizing guard button inputs and combos. It highlights that mastering the guard button is for advanced players. This page continues the Virtua Fighter 2 guide, diving into the crucial aspect of wake-up attacks when a player is downed, covering both offense and defense. It emphasizes that the moment someone is down is a key turning point in a fight. The page first looks at what causes a down state, mentioning strike attacks doing 30 or more damage in a combo, throws, and even self-inflicted down states for some characters like Shundai. It also points out that the length of time you are down is related to the damage taken. Moving to offense, it details down attacks and chase attacks as key offensive options when your opponent is grounded. Down attacks are jump attacks performed directly downwards on a downed foe using specific commands, while chase attacks are standard moves used as the opponent gets up, requiring precise timing. Defensively, the guide explains the wake-up process, which has two stages. The first stage is choosing your wake-up direction, giving 4 options: staying in place, rolling to the side, rolling forward, or doing a head spring, each with different inputs and advantages in terms of timing, positioning, and potential counterattack opportunities. The second stage is choosing a follow-up attack after waking up, offering options like high attacks, low attacks, and a spring kick, providing different mix-up strategies. Essentially, this page is all about mastering the mind games around being downed and getting up in Virtua Fighter 2, highlighting that wake-up situations are critical for both offense and defense. This page continues the Virtua Fighter 2 strategy guide, now shifting focus to counterattacks. It stresses the importance of reading your opponent's moves to land effective counters. It breaks down counterattacks into standing, crouching, and aerial counters, showing how to use them to your advantage. There are also 2 advanced techniques highlighted. The first one, small counter punch throw, details how to use quick counter punches to set up throws. The second, floating continuous technique, explains how to launch opponents into the air with counters and follow up with combos. Moving on, the page transitions to Lesson 7, which dives into the changes and key points of VF 2.1, positioning it as a refined version of Virtua Fighter 2. It lists 9 key changes in VF 2.1. These include a slower backdash, PK combo not causing falls anymore, increased throw distance, improved evasion movement, faster recovery from being stunned, easier command inputs, and changes to PK cancels. It also mentions that chasing downed opponents is now more effective, and that the 1P/2P side performance difference from the original VF2 has been removed in VF 2.1. Essentially,
This section seems to be a quick guide for players transitioning from Virtua Fighter 2 to the updated VF 2.1 version, highlighting the gameplay tweaks and adjustments made. This page showcases a detailed character guide for Akira Yuki from Virtua Fighter 2. It starts with Akira's profile, describing him as a master of Bajikwan martial arts, seeking to refine his skills through tournaments. The page then dives into Akira's fighting style, emphasizing his powerful strikes and the importance of anticipating opponents' moves. The guide breaks down Akira's techniques into different categories. It highlights his punch-focused style with few openings punch system, noting his effective use of punches in attacks and counters. Turning direction attacks explain how to counter when your back is turned, suggesting quick evasive maneuvers and counterattacks. Wake-up attacks and jump attacks are also covered briefly, detailing his sliding, kick, and jump attacks. A section dedicated to basic battle tactics for Akira advises players to utilize mid-range attacks and throws, especially his palm strike, to control the space and pressure opponents. It also discusses guarding and reading counterattacks as crucial defensive strategies, explaining how to anticipate and punish opponents' moves by reading their attacks and using throws and counter hits to gain the upper hand. The page uses screenshots and diagrams to illustrate Akira's moves and tactical approaches. This page continues the in-depth look at Akira Yuki in Virtua Fighter 2, diving into his advanced techniques and strategies. It lists a comprehensive move list with commands and damage values, showcasing the variety of attacks Akira has at his disposal, from basic strikes to more complex throws and counters. Rather than going through every single move, it's clear the page is emphasizing the depth and precision required to master Akira. The guide then moves on to representative combinations, highlighting key combos that utilize counterattacks and throws. It talks about initiating attacks after successfully countering an opponent, using throws, and then following up with powerful combinations. A key combo mentioned involves launching an opponent with a counter hit, and then using throws or PK combos for further damage. The section also touches upon quick forward and standing double blow as part of advanced strategies. Finally, the page features a section called Akira is Like This, which emphasizes mastering the fundamental moves and understanding timings to become a strong Akira player. It suggests focusing on basic strikes, throws, and counters as the core of his gameplay. It also mentions a playstyle called London Komaki, hinting at a strategic and perhaps defensive approach to playing Akira. The overall tone is encouraging players to delve deeper into Akira's moveset and master the intricacies of Virtua Fighter 2's combat system. This page introduces Pai-chan in Virtua Fighter 2, immediately highlighting her speed and graceful throws as her defining characteristics. The guide emphasizes that Pain isn't about brute strength, but about technical skill and finesse. It notes her strength lies in close-quarters combat, where she uses quick strikes and throws to pressure opponents. For mid-range encounters, she uses kicks and throws to control space and create opportunities for combos. The page details her standard techniques, focusing on speed and technique as her core advantages. It covers throw and counterattacks, showing how to effectively use counters against opponents. There's a section on rising attacks, useful for punishing downed opponents, and jump attacks, highlighting her strong aerial game. The guide also touches upon the basic battle strategy, which revolves around using small techniques to open up opponents and chain into throws. It mentions strategies for both close and mid-range combat, using quick strikes up close and kicks combined with throws at mid-range for zoning and combo setups. We even get a look at Paige's personality, with images of her victory poses and an event scene. Overall, the guide paints Pain as a character who relies on speed, technique, and throws to outmaneuver opponents rather than overpowering them. This page is a detailed breakdown of Pai-chan's moves and fighting style in Virtua Fighter 2. It's presented like a fighting game guide, complete with move lists and strategic advice. We can see a large table that meticulously lists Pai's special techniques, including their commands, attack level, damage, and even some notes. It looks like everything from basic strikes to more advanced throws and counterattacks are covered in this table. The page also features screenshots demonstrating some of these moves in action, giving players a visual guide to how they look and presumably how they are used in-game. There are sections on specific types of attacks, like down chase attacks and representative combinations, which seem to highlight effective combo strings and strategies for maximizing damage. The guide emphasizes that Pain is a character who excels with technique rather than brute force,
focusing on speed and throws. It encourages players to master her quick strikes and throws, especially in close combat, while utilizing kicks and throws to control space at mid-range. It also mentions utilizing counterattacks and jump attacks effectively. Essentially, this page is a mini-strategy guide for players wanting to master Pei-chan in Virtua Fighter 2, stressing her technical gameplay style and the importance of combining throws and strikes for victory. This guide focuses on Labu-chan's offensive prowess in Virtua Fighter 2. Ladu is portrayed as a powerful character whose attacks can quickly deplete an opponent's health, particularly through rushdown tactics and knockdowns. The diagonal upper punch is highlighted as a key move, with a suggested strategy involving guarding, using the punch, and following up based on the opponent's reaction. The text recommends mixing in throws, ground attacks, and guard breaks to keep opponents off balance. The guide also emphasizes the effectiveness of Lau's standard punches, back attacks like rear fist strike, and wake-up attacks. Jump attacks, like jump diagonal upper punch, are recommended for countering low attacks due to their speed. Overall, the guide provides a solid overview of Lau's offensive strengths and fundamental strategies. The next page delves deeper into Lao Chan's unique fighting style in Virtua Fighter 2, focusing on his offensive power and how to effectively use his techniques to dominate opponents. It emphasizes that Lao excels at rushdown tactics and quickly depleting enemy health. The page showcases a detailed list of Lao's signature moves, presenting them in a table format, which includes the move name, command inputs, attack level, damage value, and brief notes. This table seems to be a handy reference for players wanting to learn his moveset, though it's quite data-heavy. Moving on, the guide explains down attacks, crucial for maximizing damage when opponents are knocked down. It illustrates scenarios and techniques for effectively following up after a knockdown. There's also a section on representative combinations, giving examples of combo strings to inflict significant damage, stressing that consistent combo execution is key to victory. Finally, law hints are provided, offering practical advice for players. It highlights Lane as a powerful character from the start and advises aggressive play, emphasizing the importance of pressuring opponents with relentless attacks. The guide also mentions the need to understand the timing of Lucaru's moves and to mix up attacks like throws, ground attacks, and guard breaks to keep opponents guessing. It reinforces the idea that mastering Lao's offensive capabilities can lead to overwhelming victories. This page introduces us to Wolf Hawkfield in Virtua Fighter 2 and dives into his grappling fighting style. It kicks off by stating that in Virtua Fighter, you should aim to win with flashy suplexes, but to do that effectively, you need to know the tricks, which this page will teach you. It immediately emphasizes that for Wolf, you should always aim for throws, as he isn't as nimble as other characters in terms of movement and striking. The guide points out that if you're just randomly throwing out throws, you won't be successful, so strategic throws are key. The page then breaks down Wolf's basic techniques, covering standard punches, back attacks like hammer kick and back drop kick, rising attacks including rolling heel stamp and low horse kick, and jump attacks like toe crash and hammer edge. Moving on to basic tactics, the core strategy for Wolf is described as connect from strikes to throws. The guide highlights the importance of reading your opponent's mind and setting up throws by first landing punches. It then illustrates 3 tactical approaches to initiate throws after strikes, emphasizing the need to predict opponent reactions and use throws effectively to secure victory. It also mentions that throws are crucial for dealing significant damage, especially against guarding opponents, reinforcing Wolf's strength as a grappler who excels at close-quarters combat. This page continues the deep dive into Wolf Hawkfield in Virtua Fighter 2, focusing on his special moves and how to use them effectively. It's like a move manual, giving you the rundown on his unique techniques and how to string them together for maximum impact. There's a detailed list of Wolf's special moves, categorized by type, like punches, kicks, throws, and jump attacks, along with their commands, classifications, like mid, high, low, damage values, and notes. The page then goes into specific examples of down attack and representative combinations. For down attacks, it highlights the elbow drop and somersault drop as reliable options to punish downed opponents. It also gives example combo strings under the title Representative Combination, showing how to link basic attacks into throws, emphasizing that throws are key to Wolf's gameplay. It mentions using the sonic upper into vertical upper or body blow into shoulder attack, then hammer throw. Finally, the page offers gameplay advice under
Wolf is used this way. It suggests playing Wolf as a throw-heavy character, aiming to control the ring and secure victory with powerful throws like giant swing. It also mentions Red Wolf #1 strategy, recommending a patient, timing-based approach, encouraging players to aim for solid wins. The overall tone is encouraging players to master Wolf's grappling style and use throws strategically to dominate in Virtua Fighter 2. This guide profiles Jeffrey McWild from Virtua Fighter 2, detailing his backstory as a ship-rebuilding sailor and describing him as charming. The AM2 development team found it challenging to balance his strength and visual appeal. Jeffrey's fighting style emphasizes throws and strikes, with powerful throws being his primary offensive tool. The guide suggests that any perceived weakness stems from player skill, not the character. It highlights his moves, including normal, back attack, rising, and jump attacks. Key throws like Lariat Knuckle and Splash Mountain are emphasized. The guide provides move lists with commands, showcasing throws and strikes such as Kenka Kick and Powerbomb. It concludes with Jeffrey's winning poses and quotes, offering a comprehensive introduction to the character's strengths, playstyle, and essential moves. The next page continues the breakdown of Jeffrey McWild from Virtua Fighter 2, focusing on his solid fighting techniques. It highlights that middle attacks are key to Jeffrey's offense and are crucial for victory, emphasizing the risk-reward nature of his powerful moves. The page also details his stomping down attack, a follow-up move for downed opponents, stressing its reliability for damage. There's a table listing Jeffrey's solid techniques, detailing various moves with their commands, classifications like middle or high-level attacks, and damage values. It looks like a comprehensive move list for players wanting to learn his full arsenal. Moving on, the page breaks down specific moves with images and descriptions, showcasing attacks like the elbow butt, smash upper, vertical upper, and knee attack, among others, each with its damage value and command input. A section titled Representative Combination introduces a combo starting with a vertical upper or smash upper, followed by a knee attack as a counter. This combo then transitions into a straight knuckle and finally an elbow upper for damage, pointing out it's a solid combo but not foolproof against all characters. Finally, Jeffrey is like this, offers gameplay advice, suggesting that Jeffrey excels at powerful, albeit somewhat slow, strikes. It encourages players to use his throws and throws effectively, and to aim for Splash Mountain throws whenever possible. The page suggests a patient playstyle is key, waiting for openings to unleash Jeffrey's devastating attacks and throws, ultimately aiming to overwhelm opponents. This page introduces Kagemaru from Virtua Fighter 2 and dives into his fighting style, highlighting him as a character that uses unpredictable movements to confuse opponents. The page emphasizes his core fighting style revolves around high, low, and middle attacks to keep opponents guessing. It details his normal techniques, noting he's faster than other characters and possesses unique moves, making it crucial to understand his attack timing. Bone-crushing techniques are mentioned as high-risk but high-reward moves, especially effective after lower attacks or throws. Wake-up attacks describe his options for offensive maneuvers upon standing up, including rolling attacks and kicks, advising players to be aware of guard breaks. Jump attacks section discusses how to use jump attacks against opponents who are guarding low, recommending the use of jumping middle kicks. The page further breaks down Cage's basic battle tactics, emphasizing the importance of moving in close for grapple attacks after using high punches to control the distance. It also discusses feints, feint attacks, and guard break techniques as essential for mastering Kagemaru and maintaining a fast-paced, unpredictable offensive strategy. The page concludes with tactical advice on using feints and throws to keep opponents guessing and exploit openings. The next page delves deeper into Kagemaru's arsenal in Virtua Fighter 2, breaking down his unique techniques and offering combo strategies. It highlights that Cage excels at upper-level attacks, emphasizing the importance of reading your opponent to land these effectively. It details down, pursuit, attacks, explaining how to capitalize on opponents who are knocked down. The page features a comprehensive list of Cage's moves categorized by type, such as strikes, throws, and special attacks, including command inputs, damage values, and classifications like upper, middle, lower attack, and throw. It's basically a move list for players wanting to master Cage. Moving on to representative combinations, it gives example combos starting with a floating knee attack, followed by other moves like sweep kicks and body blows, showing how to string together attacks for effective damage. Finally, Cage in use offers general gameplay tips, encouraging players to find their own style and enjoy Cage's unique playstyle, mentioning that he's great for those who want to play aggressively and read their opponents. It even suggests a playful style called Drinking House Cage, focused on throws and disrupting the opponent's rhythm. Overall, this page is a great resource for Virtua Fighter 2 players looking to master Kagemaru. This page is dedicated to Sarah Bryant from Virtua Fighter 2, branding her as a character with super fast punches and powerful kicking techniques. It mentions her strength lies in hit-and-away attacks and diverse movement. The reviewer notes that in version 2.1, Sarah became weaker than before but still says she is strong, suggesting it's about player skill. The page dives into her movesets, covering normal techniques, back attacks, rising attacks, and jump attacks, illustrating them with images. It highlights her combo versatility, especially incorporating the somersault kick and punch side kick. Tactically, the page suggests using a variety of attacks to keep opponents guessing, recommending moves like the punch side kick, combo somersault, rising elbow, round kick, back blow, and delay JB. It also mentions changes in version 2.1 made her standing punch combinations less effective, and that throws became more important. Finally, it shows off Sarah's winning poses and taunts with humorous commentary. There's also a section labeled AM2 Research Secrets, which talks about her character design and color variations. This page continues the deep dive into Sarah Bryant from Virtua Fighter 2, focusing on her unique moves and how to use them effectively. It highlights Sarah's innate techniques and emphasizes the importance of mastering a variety of moves to confuse opponents. The page provides detailed move lists for Sarah, breaking them down into categories like normal moves, back attacks, and down attacks, complete with command inputs and damage values. Though we will skip reading out all the numbers. It emphasizes Sarah's strength in aerial combat, mentioning that her floating techniques are top tier. It also details representative combinations, showcasing how to chain moves for devastating attacks, specifically mentioning combos like somersault kick and combo rising knee. The reviewer offers tactical advice, stating Sarah excels at hit-and-away tactics and recommends using a variety of attacks like round kicks, knee kicks, side kicks, and step round kicks. The page stresses the importance of counterattacks and using throws effectively, especially after the version 2.1 update. Ultimately, the advice boils down to mixing up your attacks and being unpredictable to keep opponents on their toes and exploit openings for powerful combos. The page concludes with a section called Sarah Usage, offering further gameplay tips on offensive and defensive strategies, encouraging players to be aggressive and adapt to their opponent's style. This Virtua Fighter 2 page focuses on Jackie Bryant, Sarah Bryant's brother, a character known for his speed and straightforward fighting style. Jackie's long reach allows for space control, making him versatile for both offense and defense. His basic attacks rely heavily on punches and kicks, including a vacuum throw. Advanced techniques include powerful back attacks, like the turn spin kick.
Rising attacks, such as the spring kick, are effective wake-up moves.
Jump attacks like the jump kick and step heel kick are also recommended. The page details basic battle strategies, emphasizing the use of up, down, and somersault, and mixing slant back knuckles for standing opponents with rising elbows for crouching opponents to be unpredictable. Illustrated move lists showcase button combinations and how to chain moves, like the slant back knuckle for devastating combos. This page continues the Jackie Bryant Virtua Fighter 2 guide, diving deeper into his unique move list and strategies. You'll see a detailed table here, but essentially it's a breakdown of Jackie's special moves, categorized with their commands, damage, and some notes. Instead of listing them all out, think of it as a comprehensive move set, designed to give you a solid understanding of his offensive options. The page then highlights representative combinations, emphasizing how Jackie can effectively chain moves. It points out that Jackie excels at using his knee kick, slant back knuckle, and somersault kick in combos to keep opponents guessing and off balance. It stresses the importance of being unpredictable and mixing up attacks, especially when it comes to countering opponents.
Finally, the How to Use Jackie
section reinforces the idea that the somersault kick is a key move for Jackie, declaring it as his decisive move. It advises using it in battle to pressure opponents, mentioning that command throws and mixing in spin kicks are also effective tactics. The page suggests that mastering Jackie is about utilizing his speed and variety of moves to create openings and secure victories. This page introduces Shundai from Virtua Fighter 2, highlighting his unique drunken style and unpredictable movements. The page emphasizes the concept of drunken fist, drunken intent to confuse the opponent. It mentions Shundai's erratic movements and unpredictable techniques, fueled by drinking, making him distinct from other characters. The profile section details Shundai's background as a Taoist sage from China who uses drunken fist style. It also touches upon some inside info from AM2, the developers, mentioning they aimed for 8 stages and incorporated player feedback, particularly concerning the 2P color palette. Moving on to Shundai's techniques, the article points out his short reach but quick attack speed as a defining characteristic. It also mentions back parry and back spin kick as part of his arsenal. The rising attack and jump attack section details his rising kick and dragon tail kick as effective options, especially for knockdowns. Finally, the basic battle strategy section focuses on evasion as a core tactic.
It suggests using sidesteps and quick movements to get close to the opponent and then attack.
Close-range combat with lower attacks is recommended.
Interestingly, drinking is highlighted as a crucial element, advising players to drink 23 cups to enhance his power.
The page also touches upon counter-throw techniques and utilizing different stances for strategic advantage. This page delves deeper into Shundai's combat style in Virtua Fighter 2, showcasing his unique drunken fist techniques. It highlights how his unpredictable movements and drunken style are key to confusing opponents. The page focuses on his special moves, emphasizing the importance of aerial combos using moves like Moondrop Fist and Dragon Tail Kick in mid-air. It goes on to explain down attacks, crucial for punishing downed opponents. A table details a list of Shundai's special moves, complete with their command inputs, classifications, and damage values, offering a technical breakdown of his arsenals. Instead of listing every single move in detail, it would be better to say it's a comprehensive list for those wanting to master him. Moving to representative combination techniques, the guide suggests starting combos with his Moondrop Fist and then following up with throws. It mentions characters like Lion, Shun, Sarah, and Pain as examples where these combos are effective. The strategy section reinforces the drinking aspect, advising players that drinking more sake, up to 8 cups, significantly boosts his attack power, making him much stronger. Finally, the page offers advice under Emperor's Way of Using, recommending players to focus on mastering 1 or 2 key moves and emphasizing the importance of counterattacks and strategic positioning to dominate opponents with Shundai. The reviewer seems to be advocating a focused and strategic approach to playing Shundai, leveraging his drunken style for unpredictable and powerful attacks. This page focuses on Lion Rafal from Virtua Fighter 2, diving into his fighting style and techniques. It describes Lion as a unique character, known for his tricky movements and stylish fighting. The page highlights his axis shift technique as a key element, emphasizing his elusive movements and ability to confuse opponents. Lion's standard moves are discussed, particularly his low punch, which is noted as the fastest in the entire game. The guide then explores counterattack strategies, including how to deal with back attacks and utilize rising attacks when getting up, along with different jump attack options. For basic strategy, the page suggests focusing on low attacks and counterattacks, describing Lion as a character who excels at these techniques and close quarters combat. It mentions that his throws are also reliable. The page also includes a section on winning poses with some of his English victory quotes like, "What a knucklehead," and "Aren't you about ready to go home now?" The reviewer thinks Lion is a cool and stylish character overall. This page delves deeper into Lion Rafale's combat style in Virtua Fighter 2, focusing on his unique techniques and effective strategies. It highlights the importance of Lion's unique moves and how they can be used to effectively pressure opponents. The page details Lion's down, pursuit, attacks, explaining how to follow up on downed opponents for extra damage. It presents a comprehensive command list of Lion's moves, categorizing them by attack type, damage, and command inputs. This list appears to provide players with a full breakdown of his arsenal. Moving on, the page discusses representative combinations for Lion, suggesting that while his move variations might be limited, his combos are impactful. It recommends focusing on techniques that exploit openings in the opponent's defense, such as throws and counterattacks. The guide suggests utilizing moves like throws, strikes, and axis shifts to create effective and difficult predict combinations, especially those incorporating low attacks and throws. Finally, in the Lion is like this section, The page describes Lion's character as having a cool and stylish persona, appealing to fans. It playfully refers to him as a bad boy type character, emphasizing his sharp and dangerous fighting style, comparing his attacks to knife-like strikes. The page concludes by stating that Lion is a character who is easy to get into and looks stylish in battle. This page is all about the sound of Virtua Fighter 2 on the Sega Saturn, diving into the soul of the BGM. It features interviews with members of the sound team, Nakamura and Mitsukoshi, who talk about creating the music and sound effects for the Saturn version. They discuss how they aim to recreate the arcade experience, but also add a complete feel to the home version's arranged music. They mention new songs were added, like the ending theme, and they put a lot of effort into making the arranged music distinct from the arcade version, focusing on making it sound richer and more comfortable to listen to on home audio systems. There's a section titled "Development is Over," with an interview with Okano Tsuyoshi from AMR&D Department No. 2, the Chief of Development. He expresses his relief and gratitude for the development team, acknowledging the hard work put in to reach the Condrom maximum capacity for Virtua Fighter 2. Okano highlights the visual aspects, particularly the ending and in-game cutscenes, and expresses confidence in the final product, encouraging players to enjoy the game and experience the depth of gameplay compared to the original. He also touches upon the arcade controls being replicated on the Saturn, referring to the button layout and simultaneous presses. The page ends with a teaser for the next issue promising complete CPU strategy guides. We can see screenshots of Virtua Fighter 2 gameplay and character select screens throughout the page. This page is a scoop all about Sega Rally Championship. It's excitedly announcing that the game is nearing completion, currently at 80%, and will be released on December 29th for 5,800 yen, supporting the racing controller. The article emphasizes the steady progress of development, and that the porting from the arcade is now 100% complete. They are now focused on adding original elements unique to the Sega Saturn version. They're really hyping up the improved car models, highlighting how much more detailed they are compared to previous versions, especially around the rear lights and textures. There's also a section teasing secrets within the gallery mode. Apparently, things in the gallery will move, and it seems there are hidden features linked to car positions and animations that you might discover while playing or during replays. Finally, they are teasing a secret super machine that's yet to be fully revealed, building anticipation for what it might be. This page continues the scoop on Sega Rally Championship, excitedly announcing the appearance of the legendary Lancia Stratos in the Saturn version of Sega Rally. The article poses the question of what the secret machine could be, building on the previous page's hints, and then reveals it's the Lancia Stratos. It emphasizes that this isn't just any machine, but a special addition to the Saturn Sega Gallery version, highlighting its unique characteristics and performance. Screenshots show the Stratos in action, showcasing its distinctive white, green, and red Alitalia racing livery and yellow wheels. The article is aimed at readers unfamiliar with the Stratos, describing it as a machine developed with the WRC in mind. It mentions its compact and lightweight design, its incredible rally performance in the 70s, and its iconic status. It also provides specifications of the Lancia Stratos, including its engine, dimensions, and weight. The overall tone is one of excitement, presenting the Stratos as a fantastic addition that Sega Rally fans will be thrilled to drive on their Saturn. This page continues the Sega Rally Championship scoop, confirming the secret machine is indeed the legendary Lancia Stratos. The article is presented as an interview, delving into the finer details being polished for the game, and the developers' excitement about including the Stratos. The developers explain that they are currently refining the game, addressing replay camera work, sound, and handling. They mention incorporating realistic sampling for the Stratos' distinctive engine and blow-off valve sounds. The handling is being tweaked from the default settings, aiming for something that feels just right and responsive. They discuss the selection of the Stratos, emphasizing its iconic status, rally pedigree, and how it fits within the Sega Gallery concept for the Saturn version, positioned differently from cars like the Celica or Delta. The developers joke about making sure players don't sleep through the Stratos inclusion, and end by thanking players for their patience. Throughout the article, screenshots showcase the Lancia Stratos in Sega Rally Championship, highlighting its iconic Alitalia livery and its performance on the track. The developer pictured is Mr. Nakamura from the CS Planning and Design Department, who is quoted throughout the piece. The article ends by mentioning that the next page will thoroughly explain the setting mode.
SEGA Rally Championship on Saturn boasts a detailed setting mode, allowing in-depth car customization, a highly anticipated feature. Players can adjust 6 key areas: transmission, manual for experienced players, automatic for beginners; handling, 5 levels of steering sensitivity; tires, soft for gravel, hard for tarmac; front suspension, loose to tight affecting under oversteer; rear suspension, mirrors front adjustments; and blow-off valve, purely for sound preference. The game encourages experimentation with settings to optimize performance based on driving style and track type. Screenshots showcase the menu and options, emphasizing the level of control provided. This article explores SEGA Rally Championship's setting mode. Developer Atsuhiko Nakamura advises beginners to start with normal settings and experiment with settings 3 and 4 for initial learning. He recommends faster steering for those preferring quicker responses, despite slower steering being easier initially. The article then details extreme examples: the super under machine, stable understeering, achieved by stiffening the front suspension and softening the rear, and the extreme drift machine, oversteering, drift prone, by reversing the settings. Masanori Osada's column focuses on time attack settings, prioritizing stability, and suggesting steering/blow-off valve adjustments for speed. A records table showcases track times, highlighting the impact of optimized settings. Finally, the page introduces a record-breaking racer and teases an upcoming interview with Yoshio Fujimoto. This page is a special interview with Yoshio Fujimoto, a Toyota Works driver who also supervised the setting modes for the Saturn version of SEGA Rally Championship. He's interviewed here as a professional rally driver to get his take on SEGA Rally. The headline is, "The game itself is very good. It's by no means inferior to the arcade version." Fujimoto says he was really impressed with the game and felt it was close to a real rally driving experience, especially how well it simulated driving on different surfaces. He was asked to give advice during development, and he gave feedback, for example, on jump landings, suggesting nose-down landings for stability and lower jumps. He also discussed setting mode, explaining how adjusting settings like suspension stiffness impacts handling, giving examples of how to create super under machine or extreme drift machine setups. When asked about controllers, he prefers steering wheel controllers, but admits the pad is still very playable. He also talks about the graphics being very clean and impressive for the Saturn. Ultimately, he is very complimentary about the quality of the Saturn port and thinks it's excellent. The page features a picture of Fujimoto and some in-game screenshots from the Saturn version of SEGA Rally Championship. This page continues the interview with Yoshio Fujimoto, the Toyota Works driver who helped supervise the Saturn version of SEGA Rally Championship. He discusses the driving feel of the game, saying it's very close to the real experience, especially the driving physics and handling of the actual rally car. He mentions that the courses are designed in an A to B format, similar to real rally stages, and talks about the challenge of setting record times and the enjoyment of replaying stages. Fujimoto touches upon the engine sounds, stating they could be louder to better simulate the real car. He also praises the graphics, noting their clarity and quality on the Saturn. Overall, he reiterates his positive impression of the game as a rally simulator, emphasizing its realism and fun factor. He believes it captures the essence of rally driving, and that it's an excellent representation of the real sport. The page also announces a giveaway of 5 signed autograph boards by Fujimoto as a special interview commemoration, with one of them being a super cool CG photo board. Lastly, there's a teaser for the next issue, promising a big reveal of the replay mode feature. This page is a special report on Virtua Cop for the SEGA Saturn, highlighting the game's opening CG demo and a hidden ranking mode. The magazine is excited about the opening demo in the Saturn version, mentioning newly modeled characters and detailed production values. The big scoop is the discovery of a secret ranking mode in Virtua Cop. It's described as a hidden feature that tests your skills. To unlock it, you need to clear stages 1, 2, and 3 in order, and defeat the boss, Fang, and continues are allowed for this. Once unlocked, the ranking mode becomes available at the mode selection screen. In this mode, you start with 5 lives, and the difficulty is set to normal, and it seems your overall game performance is judged. The magazine emphasizes that while it may seem like a bonus, it's actually a serious test of your Virtua Cop skills, judging your abilities based on detailed data. They encourage players to try unlocking it quickly. This page is your guide to achieving top scores in Virtua Cop. It lays out 3 key points for mastering the game.
Firstly, you need to clear all the stages. Secondly, focus on your shot accuracy. Make every shot count. The page really stresses the importance of justice shots, saying they are vital for high scores. It then breaks down how your score is evaluated, listing categories like your overall score, the total number of shots fired, effective hits, how many justice shots you land, body counts, first shot accuracy, and your mission clear rate. All of these contribute to your final score. The AM2 development team chimes in, revealing that the ranking system goes up to 9 grades, and just clearing the game gets you around 5th grade. They highlight that shot accuracy and hit rate are critical for a good rank and advise aiming for justice shots and consistent accuracy, especially in the ranking mode which was discussed previously. There's also a section about training modes, introducing exercise mode and versus play mode as great ways to practice. Exercise mode has 7 patterns, and versus play has 8, allowing you to hone your skills against computer opponents. Finally, a sample ranking result is shown, demonstrating a high score and a 3RD grade rank. This page is packed with advice and insights straight from the developers to help you become a VirtuaCop Pro and climb those rankings. This page dives into strategy for conquering all 3 stages of VirtuaCop, especially for beginners tackling Stage 1. It's titled, Stage 1 Beginner Stop Weapon Deals, and warns against carelessness and hesitation.
The page breaks down Stage 1 into 3 scenes.
Scene 1. Gate to Warehouse Street. Advises players to master justice shots against lone enemies appearing before the gate. It recommends aiming for 3 shots if you miss your initial justice shot, and suggests using the rifle effectively.
Scene 2.
Kong Warehouse Front. Emphasizes keeping the automatic weapon and accurately taking down 2 enemies appearing on the first warehouse rooftop. Scene 3. Weapon Warehouse Interior. Is highlighted as the final scene of Stage 1, with many enemies. It suggests choosing either the shotgun or automatic weapon to prepare for the boss. The page describes both the shotgun and automatic weapons, emphasizing the automatic as a good all-rounder. For the Stage 1 boss, Boss Kong,
the guide stresses being mindful of ammo and using launcher shots strategically.
There are also advice boxes reminding players to aim for a novice clear, and to be careful about running out of ammo during the boss fight. Essentially, this page is packed with tactical tips to help players master the early stages of VirtuaCop and prepare for the boss encounter. Stage 2 of VirtuaCop, Medium Underground Weapon Depot Breakthrough, demands vigilance. Scene 1, Entrance Sand Mountain, features ambush enemies. Lure them out before attacking. Scene 2, Work Site, stresses off-screen attacks, particularly near machinery. Utilize automatic weapons found atop the sand mountain. Enemies emerge from dump trucks and power shovels. Scene 3, Weapon Depot Entrance, requires machine gun efficiency against a horde. Obtain the Magnum here. The boss, Boss King, uses fire weapons. Standard bullets are useless. The Magnum is key. Aim for the head while managing accompanying enemies. Stage 2 is more challenging than Stage 1, with hidden lives in wooden boxes, encouraging exploration and experimentation. The next page delves into VirtuaCop strategies for Stage 3, titled, Expert Infiltrate the Enemy Base, How to Deal with Enemies That Appear Everywhere. It emphasizes the extreme difficulty of this final stage, suggesting a no-miss run is almost impossible. Scene 1, EVL Building Front Underground Parking, recommends grabbing the shotgun at the entrance due to the nighttime setting and low visibility. Rifles aren't advised. Scene 2, First Floor Lobby Second Floor, is highlighted as long and challenging, especially the computer room on the second floor. Machine guns are recommended for the lobby and escalators. Automatic weapons are useful for handling large groups of enemies behind doors, and the Magnum is suggested for the computer room. The page also features a Now that it's over, let's talk about development secrets interview with the VirtuaCop development team. They discuss the development process after the game's release on November 24th. Topics covered include the SGL development tool, polygon counts, character design, the demo CG, sound, debugging, and issues encountered during the master version creation, culminating in Director Suzuki's revision instructions given the night before delivery. Stage 3 of VirtuaCop, Enemies Overflowing Like Waves, intensifies the action, particularly at the President's office entrance. Expect swarms of enemies, especially near the elevator before the boss. The guide includes damage point tips from the developers, urging strategic, technical play for high scores and no misclears, highlighting the importance of precise shots. The stage boss, EVL President, is manageable with a launcher or magnum. Target weak spots until the crosshair turns red, then unleash fire. The true final boss, Zhou Fang, appears after the President. He uses a flamethrower and launcher in a helicopter, requiring cautious play and cover. Defeating him concludes the exciting chase scene. The page hints at hidden game elements, including rumors of secret techniques and a special screen upon clearing the game. The next page dives deep into Battle Arena to Shinden S. It's hyped as finally complete, and this issue is a thorough analysis. The page is a special report showcasing the Saturn version, boasting original elements like a new opening sequence, and even conversation scenes within the game. A key highlight is the introduction of a new original character named Cupido, who apparently can be unlocked and played as after meeting certain conditions. The page emphasizes character control, showing off various movement techniques like dashing, running, and backstepping, as well as how normal attacks change with strength variations, demonstrating weak and strong slashes and kicks. The game is described as having refined controls that allow players to master characters and gain the upper hand. They also mention simple command inputs for original techniques, improving operability and depth. It's presented as the culmination of the Toshinden series. The release date is noted as November 24th, priced at 5,800 yen, and classified as a versus fighting game. This page is a technical manual focusing on secret special moves in Battle Arena to Shinden TES, building on the previous page's introduction to the game. It's designed to help players get an edge over their friends by mastering these techniques. The page details secret special moves, explaining they are executed with directional inputs and attack buttons, dealing significant damage. It breaks down special moves into categories: projectile attacks, where you launch energy; anti-air moves to counter opponents in the air; aerial techniques performed in the air; and extended reach moves that use weapon extensions. The game, Toshinden S, is highlighted for having simpler command inputs for these powerful moves, making it easier for players to execute them. The manual also emphasizes the importance of back attacks, stating that hitting an opponent from behind deals 1.5 times the normal damage. This also applies if you counterattack when your back is exposed. Finally, it covers combat near the ring edge and ring outs, explaining that falling off the stage results in an instant loss, regardless of health. It provides 3 methods to avoid ring outs: jumping to evade, sidestepping to reposition, and using a special move as a counterattack. The page uses screenshots to illustrate these techniques, showing examples of special moves and ring-out situations, effectively guiding players on how to utilize these advanced tactics to become more skilled at Battle Arena to Shinden S. This page continues the technical breakdown of Battle Arena to Shinden S, focusing on the powerful, secret special moves. It explains that every character can use these when their meter is full, and they deal massive damage, often taking off more than half an opponent's health. There are even secret special move 2 techniques, which are described as reversal moves, but are riskier to use. The page highlights the cancel system, which allows players to interrupt normal attacks into special moves, a staple in fighting games. It also talks about chaining normal moves together for combos into Shinden size, emphasizing that faster moves with good range are easier to link. Then, it spotlights the character AG, recommending him as an easy-to-use character for beginners. It details a basic strategy for EG, involving jumping attacks, using his Sky Flash Slash and Flying Swallow Slash to counter aerial opponents, and using ground moves like Meteor Kick and Crushing Bullet in neutral. The page illustrates these moves with screenshots and command inputs. Finally, it showcases the command inputs for AG's 2 secret special moves: 100 Demon Rampage Sword as secret special move 1, and Flame Blade Shura Destruction as secret special move 2, along with the directional and button combinations needed to execute them. The page overall is a guide to mastering advanced techniques and understanding character strategies within Battle Arena to Shinden. This page continues the breakdown of Battle Arena to Shinden S, now focusing on the characters Kane and Sophia. For Kane, it mentions his fighting style is similar to EG, and highlights the effectiveness of his standing weak kick. It then details 4 of Kane's special moves: Sonic Slash, Dead Reinslice, Shoulder Crash, and Raging Sun, showing screenshots and command inputs for each. Kane also has 2 secret special moves: Hell's Inferno, and Rainbow Splash, with their commands and screenshots also shown. These are his most powerful attacks. Moving on to Sophia, the page explains her weapon is a whip, and that she excels at mid-range combat, recommending kicks and throws for closer encounters. It details her special moves, Thunder Ring, Aura Revolution, and Rattlesnake, again with screenshots and commands. Sophia also has 2 secret special moves, Call Me Queen and Salamander, with their commands and screenshots listed. Throughout both character sections there are "This is usable" boxes which highlight key moves and provide tips on how to use them effectively in battle, giving players some useful insights into playing as Kain and Sophia. This page continues the character breakdowns for Battle Arena to Fashinden S, this time covering Ranger and Ho-Fi. Ranger is described as a power-based character who uses a club and excels at standing strong attacks. His speed is slow but compensated for by his powerful strikes, with a 5-hit combo being mentioned as a particularly devastating technique. The page details his special moves, which are Earth and Land's Fury, Earth's Awakening, and Earth's Roar, providing command inputs and screenshots. He also has 2 secret special moves, Great Earth Offering and Great Earth Blast Wave 2, again with their commands and visuals. Moving on to Ho-Fi. The page explains he is a tricky character with short reach but fast speed and unique attacks. It recommends using his backward roll to close distance and emphasizes his crouching guard-breaking kick. His special moves are called Stretching Strike, Heaven Piercing Howl, and Tempest Tiger Claw, with corresponding commands and images. Ho-Fi's secret special moves are Piercing Blast and Piercing Blast Repeated Blast Wave 2, demonstrated with their inputs and screenshots. Both character sections include "This is usable" boxes highlighting effective moves and offering gameplay tips. This page continues the character introductions for Battle Arena to Shinden S and focuses on Mondo and Duke. Mondo is introduced as a tricky character who excels at keeping opponents at a distance thanks to his long reach, making him strong in mid to long-range fights. The guide points out his Disease Wind Upper Thrust and Disease Wind Lower Thrust as continuous attacks to use. His special moves are named in the style of Power Heaven Dance, Power Wind God, and Power Thunder God. He also has 2 secret special moves, Secret Transmission Killing Technique, Super Great Offering, and Secret Transmission Killing Technique 2, Mad Power Red Hot Dance. Moving on to Duke, he is described as a proud swordsman utilizing a 2-handed sword in all his special attacks. While effective at close range, he also has strong normal moves for medium-range engagements. The guide highlights using his Standing Weak Kick and Jumping Strong Kick cancelled into Order Slash. His special moves include Southern Cross, Order Slash, Death, and Helm Crush. Duke's secret special moves are Secret Transmission Killing Technique, J-End, and Secret Transmission Killing Technique 2, Raffin. Both character sections feature This is Usable boxes which offer gameplay tips and showcase effective moves with screenshots and command inputs. This page continues character introductions for Battle Arena to Shinden S, now showcasing Ellis and Gaia. Ellis is described as a very popular character known for her speed, though her short reach is mentioned as a drawback. She excels at hit-hand-away tactics. The page highlights her Standing Weak Kick combo, which can transition into sickle dancing as a useful technique. Her special moves include Homing SWRO, Sickle Dancing, Soar Window, and Arc Slash. Ellis also has 2 secret special moves, the French Kiss and Stardust Knight. Next up is Gaia, who was previously a boss character in the series. He is presented as a powerhouse with strong attacks and good reach. The reviewer emphasizes his ability to overwhelm opponents with relentless offense. His special moves are based on elements and include Fire Sign, Water Blue, and Wind Green. Gaia's secret special moves are Black End and End of the End. The page advises utilizing Gaia's Standing Weak Kick and Standing Strong Slash in combat. This page introduces 2 new characters in Battle Arena to Shinden S, Shao and Cupido. Shao is a swordsman focused on long-range attacks, utilizing moves like Dragon Bullet and Moonshadow Slash. He has powerful special moves like Myriad Demon Slash Sword. Cupido, wielding a bow and arrow, is a mysterious character with a unique fighting style. His moves include Gale Shooter and Cannon Slash, with the special move Mirage Saber. Unlike previous games where Gaia and Shao were cheat code unlockables, all three, Gaia, Shao, and Cupido, are playable from the beginning in Battle Arena to Shinden S. The reviewer is intrigued by Cupido's unlock conditions and hints that Cupido might be a female character. Overall, the reviewer is enthusiastic about playing as Shao and Cupido. Street Fighter Zero, Street Fighter Alpha, is coming to the Sega Saturn, promising a perfect arcade experience at home, with all 10 characters playable in arcade mode. The page hypes the game and previews the characters. Ryu is an all-around fighter, while Ken offers flashier special moves. Chun-Li is a fast, kick-based attacker. Nash, Charlie, is versatile, suitable for all skill levels. Sagat is a powerful, slow Muay Thai champion. Saddam, from Final Fight, is a heavy hitter. Guy, also from Final Fight, is well-rounded with good reach. Birdie excels with command throws and aggressive play. Rose offers easy-to-use, long-range attacks. Hadan, Sagat's disciple, uses jump attacks and jaguar kicks, requiring more skill. The preview aims to give players a quick understanding of each character's playstyle. This page is celebrating the Sega Saturn's first anniversary since its release on November 22, 1994. It's positioned as a retrospective and look ahead after 1 year. The page mentions that alongside the PlayStation and 3DO, the Saturn entered the 32-bit era with a focus on individuality. It highlights the initial hit title Virtua Fighter and the continuous release of various software. The page announces an all-soft catalog to commemorate the anniversary, implying a comprehensive listing of all games released in the first year. It notes that software like Virtua Fighter 2 is evolving rapidly, and this special issue looks back at the Saturn's first year and considers future developments. It's intended to be a valuable resource for both current and future Saturn owners, packed with information and messages, wishing the Saturn a happy birthday. This interview with Sega's Toshiro Imukai celebrates the Sega Saturn's first year, highlighting the success of selling 1.5 million consoles and over 100 software titles. Imukai acknowledges the positive reception of Virtua Fighter and emphasizes the importance of user feedback for future development. The page also provides a timeline, Playback Saturn, detailing the 795 days from the console's announcement to the present. Key dates include the September 21, 1993, announcement of the Saturn as Sega's next-generation console, and the November 22, 1994, launch. The launch saw strong initial sales, approximately 170,000 units sold by December 3, despite the presence of Sony's PlayStation, marking the beginning of the next-generation game console war. A price drop to 34,800 yen is mentioned, and the upcoming Virtua Fighter remix is also referenced. In its first year, Sega celebrated the Saturn's success. Sega's Toshiro Imukai discussed the console's strong position despite 32-bit competition, emphasizing exceeding sales expectations and aiming for high demand. The Saturn stood out by bringing arcade-quality experiences like Virtua Fighter and Daytona USA home. Early milestones included selling 1 million units by May 1995, prompting a price drop to compete with PlayStation. The Saturn gained further recognition at E3 in June, drawing international attention. A 3-day anniversary event in November, themed Exciting Battle Resolution, attracted over 25,000 attendees, showcasing the growing market and dedicated fanbase. Sega remained committed to providing the most enjoyable games and achieving victory. This page is a comprehensive list of 120 Sega Saturn games available, showcasing the console's growing library between November 1994 and November 1995. It emphasizes the variety and volume of titles now accessible to Saturn owners, addressing initial software shortages. The page highlights the diverse range of genres available, broken down into categories like action, shooting, RPG, simulation, adventure, sports/race, puzzle/table, and others. A bar graph visually represents the number of games in each genre, indicating a strong selection across the board. Among the games featured you can see titles like Virtua Fighter, Wan Chai Connection, Mahjong Skyward Heaven Country, Myst, Gale Racer, Victory Goal, Pebble Beach Golf Links, Idle Janshi Suchipai Special, Shanghai, and many more. Each game entry includes basic details like genre, release date, price, and compatible peripherals. The page gives a good overview of the breadth of games available for the Sega Saturn during its early growth period, demonstrating the console's expanding software lineup. This page is a vibrant showcase of new SEGA Saturn games hitting the market. It's clearly celebrating the first year of the Saturn with a jam-packed lineup here. You can see titles like Daytona USA, Emit Volume 2 Messenger of the Maze, Emit Volume 3 and To Say Goodbye to Me, and Virtual Highlight covering a range of genres from racing to RPGs. There are also action titles like Grand Chaser and Battle Monsters, showing the Saturn is catering to different tastes. Looking at the descriptions, it seems like reviewers are quite impressed with the variety and depth of gameplay. For example, Virtual Highlight is praised for its T&E soft action RPG style, and Grand Chaser for its intense speed. Battle Monsters is highlighted as a unique action game with monsters battling on a stage. There's a mix of genres represented, from strategy games like Kikuta Shogi, Japanese chess, to adventure games like Darkseed, and even titles based on anime like Blue Seed Kushinada Secret Chronicle. The page also features some slightly more niche titles, such as School Ghost Story, Yumemiru Tamago Remix, and Mouthmeal. Sports games like Real Pro Baseball, 95 Opening Round, and Virtual Volleyball are also present, covering the sports fans. Racing is represented by Race Drivin', and there's even a board game style title, Heaven and Earth, Big O-Key, Bakabon. It's a real mixed bag, demonstrating the Saturn's commitment to building a diverse game library early on. The SEGA Saturn's launch lineup showcased a diverse range of games spanning various genres. The initial offerings included action titles like Spinball and fighter prototype Blazing Tornado, alongside puzzle games such as Breakthrough and Puyo Puyo 2. Strategy and board games like AI Shogi and World Advanced Strategy War catered to strategic players. RPG fans could enjoy Magic Knight Ray Earth. A robust selection of sports games, including golf, tennis, and football titles, rounded out the action. Adventure games, like Blue Chicago Blues and Quantum Gate 1, were also featured. Furthermore, the launch lineup included mahjong titles, reflecting its popularity in Japan. Music enthusiasts could find X-Japan Virtual Shock 001, based on the rock band, as well as CG Portrait Series. Finally, SimShocity 2000 and Thunderstorm and Road Blaster demonstrated the Saturn's effort to appeal to a wide audience. This page is a special feature looking back at the SEGA Saturn's first year. It highlights a bunch of games from different genres that came out in that initial period. There's King of the Spirits, which is a racing game focusing on realistic courses and car handling. Rayman is mentioned as a beautiful-looking platformer with smooth animation. Dragon Ball Z True Final Bout is highlighted as the latest in the series, boasting a large roster of characters and the Mr. Satan mode. X-Men Children of the Atom is also there, a popular Marvel comic fighting game. Galaxy Fight Universal Warriors is noted for its arcade-style gameplay. Golden Axe The Duel brings the Golden Axe world into a fighting game genre. Super Real Mahjong P7 is mentioned as the latest in the Mahjong series. Shuffle Secret of the Shichio Magic Lamp seems to be an adventure game. And finally, Thunder God Shus is another action title. The page then moves on to SEGA Saturn peripherals, showing off a variety of controllers and add-ons. These include the Shuttle Mouse for point-and-click games, the Power Memory for save data, a racing controller, and different types of Saturn control pads like the Sunsoft Saturn Pad and SG Tornado Pad and Stick, offering alternative control options. There's also the Fighting Stick SS, Multi-Terminal 6 for more players, a movie card for video creeds, the Analog Mission Stick, and the Fighting Commander controllers. Lastly, the Virtua Gun for shooting games is featured. The Next Stage Saturn page highlights the SEGA Saturn's potential to reach 5 million sales, featuring insights from industry experts. Koji Watanabe, Virtualian, praises the Saturn's evolution, moving beyond arcade ports to refined home experiences, thanks to AM2's efforts. Ryu Gunyama from Apri notes smoother development compared to arcades due to improved technology, emphasizing the need to build on the Saturn's arcade roots. Yuichi Shibuya, the High Roller general manager, believes the Saturn now matches arcade quality, positioning it as a new console standard alongside PlayStation. Masahiko Watanabe anticipates future growth, stressing the importance of quality software, promotional campaigns, and regular releases to attract users and overtake the Super Famicom. The page also previews the upcoming modem, poised to provide network services. This licensing space celebrates the SEGA Saturn's first anniversary, with messages from developers and publishers. Many express gratitude to Saturn owners and announce upcoming games. Key players like ArtDink and IMAX look forward to further growth, with IMAX hinting at Saskatsuku. Acclaim Japan, ASC2's team, and ASC2 Speaking Company are developing diverse titles and special editions. U-Media, Imagineer, Enchant, Exego Development, Epoch, Angel, NEC Interchannel, Electronic Arts Victor, releasing several titles including Battle Arena Toshinden Remix.
Open Book, Capcom, with X-Men and Super Puzzle Fighter 2, and Kadokawa Bookstore are also heavily involved.
These companies aim to deliver exciting and diverse content, fostering enthusiasm for the Saturn's future.
Several game developers celebrate the SEGA Saturn's first anniversary. King records thanks readers of SEGA Saturn Magazine, hinting at future projects. Game Arts looks forward to releasing new RPGs. Game Studio aims to create enjoyable games. Compile promises to continue developing high-quality games. Koei highlights their Nobunaga's Ambition series and promises more exciting games. Konami expresses gratitude and commits to developing quality titles. Sammy Industry is developing many games and is excited about the Saturn's future. Sunsoft promises fun games. Sholeiko, Shogakukun Production, Sierra Pioneer, Sonic from Saturn Magazine, SoftBank, Taito, Time Warner Interactive, Takara, Technosoft, Data East, and Tommy all offer congratulations and share their plans for new games and continued support. To celebrate the SEGA Saturn's first anniversary, several game developers offered messages. Namco and Bandai expressed gratitude and teased upcoming titles like SD Gundam. Hudson hinted at exciting news, emphasizing their 2D game strength. Pioneer LDC is developing Farland Story, a 3D RPG. Victor Entertainment mentioned dungeon-based games and Flower Battle. Big Tokai noted strong sales and upcoming titles. Virgin Interactive announced 3D shooters. Pink announced a new fighting game. Microcabin announced Night Arms. And Micronet announced a Pretty Fighter 2 limited edition. Pony Canyon highlighted their Saturn commitment, while Mizuki praised the quality of Saturn games. Polygon Gram, Media Ring, Yanoman, Usersoft, and Riverhill Soft also shared their perspectives and announced various games, including Zero Yan Champ Special and Hyper 3D Battle G-Bockers. This page is dedicated to SNK and their games coming to the Sega Saturn. It kicks off with news about a brand new Neo Geo title, which is the latest in the Samurai Spirit series, titled Scarlet Curtain Unparalleled Blade. The story focuses on a character known as Geo, who is said to be like a demon, and players will have to defeat him. You can choose between repair and demolish fighting styles. There's also a section recommending SNK soundtracks on CD. Specifically symphonic soundtracks, featuring orchestrated music from Legend of the Hungry Wolf and Samurai Spirits that are great for fans. In the SNK Hot News section, the magazine mentions that they will now have a dedicated SNK corner in the magazine going forward. They are also asking readers for postcards with feedback and ideas for the SNK World 95 section, encouraging readers to send in their thoughts. Finally, the page discusses Neo Geo games coming to Saturn like KOF 95 and Fatal Fury 3, Road to the Final Victory. Screenshots from Art of Fighting 2 are also shown to get players excited for the genre on Saturn. This page advertises strategy guides and databooks published by Koei, primarily for Nobunaga's Ambition, Heavenly Records, also known as Lord of Darkness. Offerings include the 2-volume Hyper Guidebook, with advanced strategies and data, and the Warlord file, which details in-game characters and historical battles. A game dictionary provides an encyclopedia of events and data for all players. The Shibusawaku series features a handbook and a masterbook for in-depth guidance. Additionally, a complete file is available for the strategy game World Advanced Strategy, Iron Storm of Steel, focusing on large-scale battles. Finally, a Winning Post X databook caters to fans of the horse racing simulation series, offering insights into horses, training, and racing information. The page includes mail order instructions for purchasing these books. This page is a queue in a section titled Saturn 39 Questions, where common user queries about the Sega Saturn are addressed by Sega themselves, alongside comments from someone referred to as P. The questions range from simple curiosity to more technical inquiries. Question. One asks about the origin of the name Saturn,
with Sega stating it's because it's their sixth hardware, and they jokingly consider Jupiter for the Super 32X, then jokingly mentioning Sailor Moon. Question 2 discusses sales projections, with Sega aiming for 2 million units annually. Question 3 questions the Saturn's size and weight, and asks about color variations and a gold limited edition, to which Sega says it's under consideration. Question 4 asks about the black color of overseas Saturns compared to the Japanese gray model, with Sega suggesting it's related to computer and interior design aesthetics. Question 5 is about compatibility with Mega Drive games, confirming they are not compatible due to different CPUs. Question 6 asks why the Saturn is more expensive than the PlayStation, with Sega highlighting its advanced features and high performance. Question 7 inquires about the cartridge slot, clarifying it's currently for backup, but with potential for cartridge games and expansion in the future. Finally, Question 8 asks about the memory backup color differing from the console, with Sega simply responding, fashionable? Throughout the Q&A, the Peace Person offers humorous interjections and their own opinions, adding a lighthearted tone to the informative responses from Sega. In a Q&A session, Sega addresses various Saturn-related inquiries. They're considering original packaging and power memory cartridge cases. Saturn lifespan depends on usage, and while they're unfamiliar with a flying ship sound at startup, they confirm regional lockouts on games. They clarify that TM symbols indicate software company trademarks, while Limited and Corp denote company organization types. Sega also explains that the InVision mark relates to the Sega sound library used for game development. AM research and development groups are arcade game teams, each specializing in different areas. Users are advised about power cable care and CD lens cleaning. The internal battery lasts about a year, and data loss during replacement isn't expected. Finally, Sega mentions the Game Software Deliberation Committee, which ensures appropriate content in games. This Q&A from Sega addresses various Saturn-related topics. They discuss mature content in games, which are rated and clearly marked, emphasizing the unsuitability of X-rated games for minors. Sega encourages player feedback via fan letter-like mail, but admits personal replies might be difficult. They also address porting arcade games, like Golden Axe, The Duel, from the STV board, confirming that while similar, it's not always simple. Sega advises players to contact SNK for information on SNK titles on Saturn, and humorously clarifies the distinct nature of Saturn and Neo Geo CD titles. Regarding console strengths, Sega acknowledges PlayStation's 3D advantage, while suggesting Saturn's 2D prowess, encouraging players to judge based on gameplay. Sega explains VRAM's function for high-resolution graphics, confirms CD-ROM capacity at 540 MB, and discusses video input quality, recommending RGB for the best image and RF as the least preferable. Lastly, they provide advice on light gun compatibility, specifying limitations with modern TVs. This Q&A covers diverse topics. Sega addresses a reader's query about RGB cables, stating they're primarily for expensive TVs, over 50,000 yen, and sound output from monitors. They humorously deny knowledge of water polo, dismissing the idea of a game. They also address inquiries about Miss Sega and Miss Satama, clarifying their good relationship and confirming the editor-in-chief. Sega offers job recruitment details, encouraging potential applicants, and discusses the Vachafa Fighter tournament, revealing titles but no physical prizes. Additional details include explanations on V-Saturn color variations, CD case differences, and CD lens cleaning. They address technical topics like power memory, VRAM, and HD TV compatibility, noting S-Video's superiority over RGB in some cases. Furthermore, they mention the need for converters with high-end TVs. Finally, the section concludes with a call for name suggestions for the Penguin characters replacing Polygon Hakase. This page is packed with new game announcements and pre-order information from Creative Human Store. It's highlighting several upcoming releases for the Sega Saturn, prominently featuring Virtua Fighter 2 as the popularity #1 game, stating that the Saturn exists for this game, and listing a December 1st release date with Sarah and Jackie screenshots to get you hyped. They're also pushing Sega Rally Championship, which supports racing controllers, coming out on December 29th. Other games promoted include Virtua Fighter, CG Portrait, featuring Lao Chan, and Theme Park. Dark Savior is highlighted with the tagline about complex human relationships being a key appeal, and it's coming in December, featuring the character Quo Vadis. Street Fighter Zero Vampire Hunter is advertised as having amazing voice acting, and is also slated for December release. There's also Super Real Mahjong graphics and Bakushin Thunder Legend S on offer. A section lists Wolf with a December 8th release. Finally, there are sections dedicated to parts and hard, which seem to be listing various controllers and hardware accessories alongside prices for the Sega Saturn, as well as a table of game release dates and prices for December, including games like X-Men and Puzzle Bobble. This page dives into the user's voice section of the magazine, starting with the Circle of Saturn column by Navigator Panna. Panna talks about their obsession with Tactics Ogre, so much so that they're forgetting to eat and sleep, captivated by its story and characters. They are now asking readers to send in their own horror experience stories for the next column. Then there's a piece titled Virtua Fighters in London, where someone recounts visiting London in August and hitting up game centers. They were impressed by the number of Japanese games, particularly from Sega and Capcom, and watched people playing Virtua Fighter 2. They noted the high skill level of some players and the helpfulness of the arcade staff, mentioning it cost 50 pence, 80 yen, per play, and they had a great time communicating with people despite language barriers. Another user submission titled Japan's Enthusiastic Fan, from a 15-year-old in Nagano Prefecture, describes their intense desire to play Saturn games, especially Virtua Fighter. They talk about how Saturn software felt impactful. They mention an anecdote about a record store anticipating software pre-orders and a shop misunderstanding them as an X-fan. They played Virtua Fighter Remix at an arcade and were struck by the immersive sound and experience, pondering if this was virtual reality. Finally, we've got some reader submissions in the bottom corners, seeming to be illustrations, and a humorous comic strip section titled Monthly Cultural Propertization. This text celebrates the first anniversary of the Saturn with the Kankan Gaku Gaku Arbitrary Awards Ceremony. Panzer Dragoon wins the Next Generation Graphics Award for its unique visuals, despite the reviewer's playful critique of the Saturn's graphical capabilities compared to the buzz of Next Gen at the time. Sega itself receives the Autonomous Motion Award for seemingly working for the benefit of users through efforts such as price cuts and cross-licensing. PlayStation is awarded Best Rival for its significant impact on the Saturn's performance. SNK receives the Super Happy Entry Award for bringing the King of Fighters 95 to the Saturn. The Good Tire Talk section presents user opinions, including desires for faster loading times, concerns about the utilization of power memory, and excitement for Madu Monogatari 1. The page ends with a call for reader feedback on Saturn RPGs for a Dream Staff project. This magazine page is a vibrant collection of editorial content and reader contributions focused on the Sega Saturn. An editor expresses a desire for Sega to aggressively expand the Saturn's library, particularly with Neo Geo ports and RPGs, while also exploring internet connectivity. Another editor humorously discusses their CD listening habits. Reader submissions include Saturn Senryu poems, short comments, and a What is your best software poll, fostering community engagement. The page also features reader-submitted comic strips under Planet Theater, filled with humorous scenarios and game references, showcasing the reader's passion for Sega and its games. The content highlights a mix of gaming desires and comedic takes on the Saturn experience. This page showcases the Gallery of Saturn, which is a section where readers contribute artwork and comments about Sega Saturn games. One editor humorously mentions they are working on a special problem issue. We see a variety of reader submissions. One from Osaka features a cool Snatcher illustration, while another from Shizuoka shows love for the King of Fighters series, with a drawing of a character in action. Someone from Tokyo sent in a virtual fighter image, and another Tokyo contributor, under the one-seat column, is hoping for unique nicknames in games, along with a Fatal Fury 3 picture. An Ibaraki submission highlights Fatal Fury 3 again, wondering about character popularity changes over time, alongside a baseball game image. Moving down, a Hokkaido submission features a funny image related to troubled children or naughty kids, and an image from Dinner Table E. There's also a Metal Fighter Ninku submission, alongside a True Love Story 2 image from Okayama, with a reader commenting on enjoying dating sim scenarios. Finally, the Discover Saturn section asks, "What? Even Saturn-san?" We see more reader comments from Saitama and Nagano, showing drawings and expressing their thoughts about the Saturn. continuing the theme of reader engagement and love for the console seen in the previous page. This page features reader submissions about the Sega Saturn. Fukijana Okusan and Yobibe highlights a family's enjoyment of Saturn games like Virtua Fighter 2 and Daytona USA. Or No Saturn includes reader comments about modding a Saturn, Saturn, and a child's remark about the console's longevity. Short segments like Hi Saturn showcase brief anecdotes, including mentions of Purun Saturn and Chanayan Saturns.
Sochira Mo Saturn Sunday requests reader submissions about Saturn merchandise. Another Or No Saturn entry offers to share original Saturn-related goods. The page also includes creative sections like manga, Hore Gekijo, and illustrations, Suisei Gado. Submissions are encouraged through postcards, Voyager e no Toko, with the chance to win prizes. Readers are invited to submit poems, Saturn Kawayanagi, and opinions, Jizai Zaza, and share gaming stories, Game no Kinbito. Information section corrects pricing for Samurai Showdown and Neo Geo cartridges. This page features a few interesting articles. One section titled, Games Are Great, expresses a deep love for video games, highlighting the immersive and joyful experience they provide since childhood, mentioning both console and arcade games. Then there is an interview with Yamato Sawamura from the music unit Blow. He's a vocalist in the three-person band who also create music for games. He talks about his love for games, particularly adventure games, and singles out Myst as a game he's been captivated by. He enjoys simulation games and solitary experiences in games with minimal dialogue, preferring a quiet, thoughtful gameplay. He hopes for more compelling games in the future. Finally, Dobbs' favorite is a piece by Kenichi Shigetu, a musician who shares his gaming history. He started with a Macintosh, then CFAX for music and graphics, before getting into consoles with the Sega SG-1000, and became a big fan of the Mega Drive. He lists Roadrunner on SG-1000 and several Mega Drive games as favorites, especially action games like Comic Zone and Guns. He still enjoys action games and wants to buy Comic Zone, hoping for more exciting titles in the genre, and finishing by noting that Sega's seriousness is evident in their action games. This page features an article titled Ikebukuro Salaryman Park Crash, which seems to be a report about a game event or gathering. It mentions people enjoying games until late at night, and a cosplay event with judges and audience participation. It talks about a character named New J, and another person referred to as Old J. It describes a chaotic scene in Ikebukuro, and mentions meeting with game developers and having conversations. There's a photo of a person, possibly related to the event. Next, there's a section about Dobbs' enhanced CD, called La Lula Ru. It explains that this CD-ROM is an enhanced CD that can play on regular CD players without noise, unlike typical CD-ROMs, and highlights its enhanced features like video and text. It is described as Dobbs' first enhanced CD, a Katire code release, priced at 3,000 yen, and marketed as an easy game. Screenshots show a software interface related to music and visuals with Dobb branding. It mentions selecting songs and creating arrangements. Finally, there is a comic strip section titled, Where is My Ex Japan?, which shows characters playing video games, with speech bubbles expressing frustration and excitement. One panel shows a person playing a game with Ex Japan Hypershock 001 visible on screen. The comic depicts typical gamer reactions and interactions. At the bottom, there's contact information for sending messages to the Chaos editors at SEGA Saturn Magazine. This page is a strategy guide for a challenging map called the Halha River Battle, in a game referred to as World Advanced War. It's aimed at players who want to achieve a great victory in this particular scenario, which takes place between June 26th and July 25th, 1939. The guide emphasizes an aggressive strategy from the start, using fast tanks to overwhelm the enemy quickly, mentioning using infantry and artillery support. The objective is to break through uncharted territory and achieve victory by destroying all enemy command posts within 20 turns for a great victory. The guide details enemy troop deployment and suggests concentrating attacks on specific directions, especially the 3B direction with air support. It also highlights the importance of using 97 type tanks as main force due to their power. The page also outlines victory conditions. A great victory requires destroying all enemy command posts within 20 turns,
A standard victory is achieved by destroying all enemy command posts, and defeat occurs if Allied command posts are destroyed. It also shows a battle map and details about key enemy units like the 122mm howitzer and 116 fighter, providing their stats and descriptions. The article is written by Pigino Kiyohide. Overall, this page provides a detailed strategy breakdown for players looking to conquer a difficult stage in World Advanced War. This page presents weapon evolution charts for American land and air weaponry, detailing the Sherman tank's progression and fighter aircraft development from the F-2A to the F-6F. A related article discusses the Soviet BT-5 tank, highlighting its speed, maneuverability, and inspiration from American designs. The BT-5 is presented as a capable tank of the early 1930s. The page also features a reader question section, Hear My Plea, where a reader seeks resources on weapons in the game World Advanced War. The response recommends the World Advanced War Strategy Complete File Strategy Guide. Finally, there are sections for reader submissions, including a cartoon and a call for contributions, possibly related to the game. This page from Arcade Game Magazine, issue 3 for January, is packed with arcade game news and features. It highlights a special feature on drive games that keep running, including interviews with developers from Sega and Namco, and a Drive Game Year overview. The page also lists several games as part of a Perfect Guide section, including Samurai Showdown 2-1, Blades of Blood, Virtua Cop 2, Marvel Superheroes, Game Paradise combined with Virtua Fighter 2.1, Rockman, The Power Battle, Tekken 2, Sky Target, and Fighting Vipers. You can see a couple of cool samurai characters featured prominently, likely related to one of the fighting games mentioned. There's also a special bonus poster of Fighting Vipers drawn by Sega AM2. Finally, the new release Scramble section teases upcoming arcade releases like Super Iron Breikinger and Salamander 2, Battle Balls, and Super Dodgeball. The movie, plus maybe a saying or phrase, twice is sand R, related to games. This advertisement features several publications related to PlayStation and Sega Saturn games. Primarily, it promotes materials for the PlayStation fighting game, Hypersolid Kandenjin, including a comic book, Kandenjin Anthology Comic Series Volume 1, and a strategy guide, the PlayStation Books Kandenjin Perfect Guide. The ad also highlights SoftBank CD book publications. These include Memorial Drama Kids and fan books for Langrisser 2 and Phantasy Star. The Langrisser 2 publication focuses on the story and characters, while the Phantasy Star one is part of a series and includes an original drama CD. Finally, an official guidebook for Phantasy Star Official Setting Material Collection, is advertised, featuring unreleased materials, character data, interviews, a popularity vote, and bonus content like a poster. This page showcases the new soft schedule for Sega Saturn, listing a variety of upcoming games across different months. December highlights include titles like FIDA Remake, Emblem of Justice, Wizard's Harmony, and Mobile Suit Gundam. Moving into January, the schedule features Virtua Cop 2, along with various editions of the original Virtua Cop, Kanazawa Shogi, and Super Real Mahjong Graffiti. February looks busy with games like NBA Jam Tournament Edition, Fighter Stick X Peripherals, and quirky titles such as Bug, Jump into the Future, Get Wet and Messy, and Chibi Maruko-chan's Upside Down Town Panic. The Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series continues with new entries. March boasts a diverse lineup, including Emit Value Set, Marriage, Theme Park, Creature Shock, and Sega Rally Championship. There's also a Godzilla game and Hokuto no Ken title listed. April's offerings include Aquazone for Sega Saturn, the highly anticipated Sakura Wars, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Dragon Force, and Linkle Liver Story. Finally, the 96-year end to New Year section mentions Albert Odyssey Gaiden Legend of Eldine, Lupin III The Master File, and Tecmo Super Bowl, amongst other titles, rounding out a packed schedule for Sega Saturn gamers. This page details more of the new soft schedule, focusing on Sega Saturn, Mega Drive, and Game Gear releases. For Saturn, there's a list of games scheduled for release from 96 year-end to New Year, Spring, Summer, and Autumn, and another list marked as Release Date Undecided. Some of the notable titles in the Year-End to New Year section include The Seventh Guest 2, The 11th Hour, Lunar, Silver Star Story, Dark Savior, and Earthworm Jim 2. In the Release Date Undecided Saturn section, we see games like Virtua Cop 2, Cobra Command, the animated series, US Drag Racing Championship, and Super 3D Baseball. Moving on to Mega Drive, there are 2 games listed for a December 22nd release, Pengo and Surgical Strike. Then, under Release Date Undecided for Mega Drive, we find titles such as Zoom, Shadowrun, Maju Monogatari, Alien 3, and Samurai Spirits. Finally, for Game Gear, there are games with specific November and December release dates, and some listed as Release Date Undecided.
On November 24th, J-League Soccer Dream 11 and Magical Tale Adokidoki Penguinland were scheduled, along with Pocket Soccer as a re-release. December 8th saw releases like World Series Baseball, Godzilla vs. Destoroyah, and Super Laydock, Steel Lancer. For Release Date Undecided on Game Gear, there's Lunar, Walking School, and Puyo Puyo Fighter. The bottom of the page contains a notice about an apology and correction, likely regarding a previous publication error. This page features a reader feedback section and extensive SEGA Saturn hardware and software lists. It begins with a questionnaire gathering demographic information, gender, age, education, and gaming preferences, including opinions on the magazine's content and Saturn hardware/software choices. Below the questionnaire are 3 key tables. The first details the magazine's articles in the current issue.
The second, the hard list, catalogs SEGA Saturn hardware and accessories. The third, the soft list, provides a comprehensive list of SEGA Saturn games spanning various genres, including popular titles like Daytona USA and Panzer Dragoon. The questionnaire concludes with inquiries about internet usage and preferred article types, followed by a request to rank favorite hardware, software, and ultimately, the reader's top 5 favorite games from the provided list. This page is showcasing a lineup of exciting upcoming and soon-to-be-released SEGA Saturn titles. It's broken into 2 sections. New Release Title, which highlights games expected to release from next year onwards, and Coming Soon Soft, focusing on games just about to hit shelves. Among the new release titles are games like Fishing Koshin, Hyper Reaction R, Blackfire, Magical Drop, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and even Zork-Id is listed. The Coming Soon section is packed with heavy hitters such as Guardian Heroes, Dark Savior, Dragon Force, Fighters Megamix, King of Fighters, 95, Darius Gaiden, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, Lode Runner Legend Returns, and Bug. The page is really hyping up the variety and quality of games coming to the Saturn, emphasizing that the end of the year and the beginning of next year are going to be amazing for Saturn fans. There's also a character image, likely from one of the fighting games mentioned on the page, posed dynamically to grab attention. This page features a couple of newly announced games for the SEGA Saturn. First up is Fishing Koshin, a fishing game where you play as a high school student competing in a fishing tournament. It sounds pretty detailed, mentioning real fishing tackle manufacturer Daiwa, and even a depth sensor in the game. If you do well, you might even get a real prize. The screenshots show some in-game fishing action and interface elements. Next we have Hyper Reaction RAR, described as a powered-up version of an arcade game, and it seems to be an undressing mahjong title. They've added new characters, animations, and even new endings. Apparently, there are over 30 different undressing patterns, which the reviewer points out might keep you playing for a while. The screenshots show off some of the anime-style girls and mahjong gameplay. Lastly, there's Mahjong Kyojidai, Kogel Hokago Hen, another mahjong game and a sequel apparently focused on Kogyaru, or Kogel culture, which were trendy young women at the time. This one uses real actresses and actual filmed footage for the undressing parts, going up to 30 degrees of undressing. They even mention a VIP thinking routine system in the game and are pushing the undressing degree as a key feature. The screenshots show real actresses in suggestive poses for the game. It sounds like these last 2 mahjong games are definitely aimed at an adult audience. This page highlights 4 upcoming SEGA Saturn titles. First up is Blackfire, a realistic-looking 3D helicopter shooting game where you pilot an A-210. It emphasizes the battlefield realism, mentioning radar, diverse weaponry, and a Siberian setting. The reviewer seems to think it will be a serious game. Next, we have Magical Drop, a port of the popular arcade puzzle game. They're adding new content to keep things fresh, including new characters like Hamilton, Mint, and Isabella R., and a new single-player, Thoroughly Enjoy mode, and a competitive, serious mode. The article points out the cute characters from the Super Famicom version are back and even better. Then there's NBA Jam Tournament Edition, a basketball game from Acclaim. It promises powerful techniques and exciting goal scenes. The article focuses on the thrilling dunks and acrobatic plays, mentioning players like Pippen. It highlights the realistic basketball action you can expect.
Finally, Chaos Control from Virgin Interactive is described as a cinematic shooting game. Set in 2050 Manhattan after an alien invasion, it seems to be story-driven, with mouse compatibility mentioned. The reviewer notes, it feels like watching a movie with anime-style cutscenes and varied gameplay, including free-roaming sections and dramatic moments. It sounds like you'll be commanding a unit to liberate occupied cities and confront the enemy.
This page showcases 3 upcoming SEGA Saturn titles. Kicking things off is Zork Eye, a text-adventure game described as a remake allowing players to rediscover classic gameplay. It highlights the text-based nature of the game, reminiscent of older computer games, and emphasizes imagination and player-driven world-building. Next up is Siberia, an action-adventure game where you infiltrate a sea fortress. Set in 2027 after a major Earth change, you play as a member of a counter-terrorism force, investigating a terrorist group. It emphasizes polygon graphics, smooth character animation, shooting and puzzle elements, and a story that changes based on player choices. The reviewer seems impressed, judging by the 100% completion rating score and comments on the character expressions. Lastly, there's Hyper 3D Golf Devil's Course, a golf simulation game boasting enhanced power compared to previous versions. It highlights the high-speed processing, challenging courses, and new hypershots. It mentions 4 types of hypershots and describes visually impressive courses with mirror reflection effects and polygon rendering for realistic graphics. This game also receives a 100% completion rating, suggesting a positive impression. There's also a score of 60% for another game at the top of the page, which mentions visual shock and sound effects, likely referring to Zork and its updated presentation. This page reviews 2 games and features Hamidashi information with smaller game previews. Creature Shock, a violent shooter set in the 22nd century with a score of 90, tasks players with rescuing the Amazon ship from alien creatures across 4 stages. Fusui Sensei, a simulation game scoring 50, is an unusual SLG focusing on city building based on Feng Shui principles.
Hamidashi information announces several games.
Clockwork Knight 2 will include extra content like bonus battles. Hikari no Tsukai 2. Kessen no Toki will have a shorter scenario and power-ups. Sunsoft is releasing a Pachinko collection. Tecmo is bringing Tecmo Super Bowl to the Saturn with 3D characters. Version is developing a 3D action game, Gotha 2 War, with a focus on realistic sound. A game from Data Politics will include a 4-pillar Destiny graph mode.
This page highlights the upcoming SEGA Saturn game Guardian Heroes. It's presented as a standard for original action games, moving away from arcade ports and aiming for Saturn-exclusive titles. The game is described as a scrolling action RPG, with a focus on story mode for 2 players, and a versus mode, supporting up to 6 players. The page shows a completion rate of 90%, indicating the game is nearing release. Developer comments mention that while the goal is in sight, they are still working on quality improvements, adjustments, and additions based on player feedback. The release date is set for January 26th, at a price of 5,800 yen. It's described as a SEGA Saturn action game, playable by 2 players in story mode and 2 to 6 players in versus mode, supporting Alasias and the multi-terminal 6-player adapter. The screenshots show various scenes from the game, including in-game action with characters fighting enemies, cutscenes with characters interacting, and large-scale battles with many soldiers. The page emphasizes the game's action and RPG elements, positioning it as a key title for the SEGA Saturn. Guardian Heroes features a diverse cast of characters. The heroes include playable characters like Randy, Edward, Ibushi, Han, and Nicole, each with unique fighting styles and motivations, alongside Selena and a possible undead minion. The Kingdom section introduces characters tied to the royal family. Princess Lucia, who possesses a legendary sword,
Reinhardt, her brother and Red Knight commander, Kati, a Red Knight and Selena's rival, and Dead-Eye Gash, a mercenary Blue Knight commander. Other characters, like Macho Goro, a powerful figure with minions, Silver, a magical robot bodyguard, Canon G. Gray, an ancient mage manipulating the kingdom, and Zulbire, a battle-obsessed Blue Knight, further enrich the story. The game hints at an intricate web of relationships and conflicts involving these characters and the legendary sword. A coming soon software announcement promises a visually stunning action game inspired by Guardian Heroes. The game emphasizes flashy moves and exhilarating gameplay, aiming to burn Heroes' active and elegant scenes into players' memories. Character animation is smooth, and screenshots showcase chaotic battles with numerous characters and special effects. The game boasts GH graphics with detailed movements and satisfying playfeel, enhanced by voiced characters. The focus is on Han, the main character, with a wide range of attacks and super moves. While magic is limited to one type, it's impactful. Special moves like Peerless Sharpness of the Nation, Flame Flash Strike, Heavenly Dance Rise, and a Charge Attack are highlighted, promising over-the-top action and visual flair. A comic strip further promotes the game's fun and engaging nature, hinting at a fast-paced, action-packed experience. This page continues with the coming soon soft announcements and introduces 3 distinct characters, each seemingly representing a different playable style or game. First up is Ibn Ginglo, a character described with ninja-like traits and fast, acrobatic movements. His gameplay emphasizes close combat and powerful techniques like Purple Lightning Clear Dragon's reverse turn kick and secret technique of stealth body mastery. The screenshots showcase his dynamic action in what looks like a side-scrolling environment, highlighting his flashy moves and combat prowess. Next we have Nicole Nil, a charming young girl who fights with both weapons and magic. She is described as having low attack power initially, but she can level up to become stronger. Her abilities include Charming Weaponry and Raging Heart, suggesting a mix of physical and magical attacks. The screenshots show her using magical orbs and what seems to be a summoning attack, hinting at a more versatile playstyle. Finally, there is Randy M. Green, an attack magic expert. He seems to focus on powerful offensive magic, with spells like Tornado, Ice, Thunder, and Phaser being highlighted. The screenshots illustrate large-scale magic attacks, showing him unleashing elemental spells against groups of enemies. Randy's gameplay appears to revolve around strategic use of magic in combat. Overall, this page is showcasing a range of characters and playstyles in what looks to be a visually impressive and action-packed series of upcoming SEGA Saturn titles, building on the excitement hinted at on the previous page. This page focuses on the upcoming SEGA Saturn title, Dark Savior. It highlights the game is about 87% complete and includes a quote from the development director, Morisaki, who says it's a 3D polygon RPG that will make you say, "Wow!" and be so engrossing you'll forget about sleep, offering a completely immersive and enjoyable experience. The page then delves into details about the diverse viewpoint movement system, explaining it's a core element of the game. It mentions 2 key systems: investigation viewpoint movement and free viewpoint movement, suggesting players can explore environments freely to uncover secrets. The system allows players to investigate unseen areas and respond to user feedback, aiming to surprise and delight players. The first half story is outlined, mentioning Ryu, who is pursuing the escaped evil monster Palan from the Grigori mine. The story involves a prison island called J-Lay's Island, suggesting a mystery and dangerous scenario. Finally, the page introduces 4 key characters: Ryu, Yarma, and Cheryl, both border guard members from Lagine, as well as Kiwi, a feline fighting moonvancer, and Voss, a special wolf dog monster type. These characters seem to represent the diverse cast players will encounter within the game. This page delves deeper into the investigation viewpoint movement system in Dark Savior. It explains that, as you explore, an investigation viewpoint icon will appear on screen. Activating this switches the viewpoint to Snake or Jack's perspective, letting you freely explore the scene and potentially uncover hidden secrets. The page emphasizes thoroughly searching when this icon appears, as it often leads to discovering hidden areas or items. The reviewer seems quite excited about the smooth scrolling and immersive feeling this viewpoint shift provides. The page then highlights 3 specific locations where this feature comes into play. First, in the Kilbar region, described as a dangerous area with traps, using the investigation viewpoint reveals a shining golden object. It turns out to be a gold relief of the Culture Age director, and the reviewer humorously questions if this is the director's hobby. Next, on a bridge within J-City, using the investigation viewpoint reveals a hidden passage. Looking down from the bridge shows an opening, suggesting this passage leads further into the level. Finally, in the Gristy ship's large engine room, the investigation viewpoint uncovers a hidden door. Exploring the back of the engine room using this feature exposes a secret passage, implying there are many hidden pathways to discover beyond the obvious routes. The reviewer notes that these hidden passages are likely essential for progressing if other areas are inaccessible. This page continues discussing the new free viewpoint movement system in Dark Savior. It clarifies that unlike the investigation viewpoint, which is triggered at specific points, this new system allows players to freely adjust the camera angle at any time. The page explains that while it's called free viewpoint, the movement range is actually limited to a specific area around the standard camera position, roughly 4 degrees up and down, and 9 degrees left and right. Despite this limitation, it's highlighted as useful for strategic situations like battles or viewing event scenes from different angles. The Operation Methods section details how to use this feature. Players need to stop their character, press the designated viewpoint movement button, and directional icons will appear on screen. Using the directional buttons then allows players to shift the viewpoint within the defined range. An illustration demonstrates this, showing the viewpoint moving from the standard position. Finally, the page shows screenshots from the Dexcalibur Surveillance Fortress area, titled Ryuya, Viewpoint Movement Exploration. The text boxes in the screenshots emphasize how this free viewpoint movement can aid in exploration, allowing players to discover higher floors, hidden lookout points, and appreciate the scale of the environment, suggesting it's key to finding hidden pathways and secrets within the game's locations. This page continues to preview the upcoming game Dark Savior, showcasing 2 different locations. The first area is called Gliogo's Ship Interior, and it looks like you're navigating the inside of a ship with metal platforms and pipes. The text boxes describe exploration within the ship, suggesting there are traps and puzzles to overcome, possibly involving green boxes and steam pipes. It seems you'll need to carefully explore to find the correct paths through this area. The second area is Jailer's Island, which presents a stark contrast with a prison-like atmosphere. This location seems focused on traps and puzzle elements involving blocks. Electric floors and other hazards are mentioned, requiring strategic movement. The descriptions highlight the need for precise jumping skills to get past platforming challenges and avoid deadly traps like needle beds. It sounds like both areas offer different kinds of gameplay experiences within Dark Savior, blending exploration with puzzle solving and challenging platforming. The next page is all about Dragon Force and an event demo at the Next Generation World Hobby Fair. It seems to be a preview focusing on the game's background and setting. We get a look at some cool character art and gameplay screenshots. The article talks about the world being divided into 6 nations: Highland Kingdom, Izumo Kingdom, Bozaduk Kingdom, Tupaz Kingdom, Tradnor Kingdom, and Fandalia Empire. It mentions the Great Disaster of Madluk, which seems important to the story, affecting the relationship between elves and beastmen. Then it dives into introducing key characters from each nation. For Highland Kingdom we have Norn, a high priest, and Moto, an elemental master who's a good advisor. Izumo Kingdom features Kulin, a samurai master and beauty, and Natalva, a shaman who's dependable and popular. Bozaduk Kingdom introduces Taifon, a master monk who was once Leon's teacher, and Maigurange, a sorcerer who's analytical and a strategist. Tradnor Kingdom has Mayurika, an elemental master and elf beauty, and Salih Pibar, a grand knight known for his experience and strategic planning. Lastly, Fandalia Empire presents Saber, a grand knight who's strong and determined. It looks like this page is setting the stage for the game by introducing the factions and some of the important figures players will encounter in Dragon Force. The 65% completion box suggests it's still in development but nearing release. The page explores 2 kingdoms in the Dragon Force setting: Izumo and Bozaduk. Izumo, located in the southeast, values decorum and has limited contact with other nations. They worship Estrella but haven't forgotten Madruk, with Mikazuki and Jubei as key figures, along with Sion, Bakura, and Haorai. Bozaduk, a kingdom of beastmen, prioritizes self-sufficiency and communal living within a forest, led by siblings Gongos and Mani, with Reiji, Bagi, and Uni as supporters. They are strong in combat. Players can choose to play as either Mikazuki in a rural setting, facing isolation challenges, or Gongos in a desperate post-disaster scenario. The page also introduces the Moon Palace Elves, ancient magic users who have isolated themselves due to their dwindling numbers and distrust of humans. They observe the continent from afar and may be connected to the Madruk disaster. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Mobile Suit Gundam. It's described as a horizontal scrolling shooting action game based on the first Gundam series. They are aiming to recreate famous scenes from the anime with impressive CG rendering, allowing players to step into the shoes of Amuro Ray and experience these iconic battles firsthand. The developers highlight the game's dedication to recreating the anime's atmosphere, not just visually with movie-like cutscenes, but also orally with voice acting from the original cast. They're focusing on making the gameplay deep and satisfying for fans, emphasizing things like graphics, character animation, and responsiveness. There are screenshots showing gameplay in two key scenarios: the battle at Side 7 against Zeon Zaku, and the battle against Ramba Ral's Goof in the desert. They mentioned that the Zaku battle at Side 7 will have Amuro facing off against multiple Zakus, while the Ramba Ralsaral fight will feature a fast-paced battle against the Goof in a different environment. The text even jokingly comments about Zeon Mobile Suit's ability to break through the Earth's atmosphere. Overall, the page conveys excitement about this new Gundam game for the Saturn, focusing on its faithful recreation of the anime and action-packed gameplay. The upcoming Mobile Suit Gundam game focuses on its new lock-on attack system. Players charge an attack by holding the button, targeting multiple enemies upon release. This attack levels up, shortening charge times and increasing the number of targets, enhancing the new archetype experience. Strategic elements include managing energy consumption for beam rifles and utilizing support from the white base for Mobile Suit or Core Fighter assistance. The Q and A with Mr. Takahashi Kazuma reveals the development team's focus on authentic recreation of the Gundam universe, considering difficulty levels and stage progression to appeal to all players, regardless of their shooting game experience. They aim to make the game enjoyable for all Gundam fans. This page continues to showcase the Mobile Suit Gundam game, focusing on Stage 5, called Triple Dom Offensive. It seems this stage will be intense, featuring the Jetstream attack maneuver by 3 Dom mobile suits. The stage is set at night on Earth and involves dodging attacks from the Dom squadron, with a powerful black tri-star Dom appearing. The page highlights the game's graphics, stating that the opening movie is now complete and features beautifully rendered scenes using in-game animation techniques. It emphasizes the lock-on attack system, confirming it works well with multiple enemies, and that the new type-like sensation is achieved through this mechanic. It also mentions strategic elements, like managing energy for beam rifles, and the importance of white base support. There's a queue and a section where the developers discuss how they are making sure the game appeals to everyone, from Gundam fans to shooting game novices. They've focused on balancing difficulty and stage progression, considering player feedback, and aiming for an experience that captures the essence of Gundam. They mention the BGM is original, but with familiar sound effects, and that they are incorporating elements from the anime and movies into the game, expressing confidence that fans will appreciate the authenticity. They assure players that endings will differ based on difficulty settings and player choices, emphasizing their commitment to honoring the source material while also making the game enjoyable even for those who are not hardcore shooting game players. This page showcases more of the Mobile Suit Gundam game, diving into Stage 6, Sea Battle Below. It seems the mission takes place underwater during the Jaburo operation. We're told to expect a powerful mobile armor developed specifically for underwater combat. The screenshots confirm this, showing Gundam facing off against Zagaks and a much larger, menacing mobile armor. There's a combat tip mentioning that beam rifles are less effective underwater, so beam sabers are the way to go for stronger attacks. Amuro even points out a massive reaction closing in, identifying the new mobile armor as the Grabro, noting its good mobility and heavy armor. Moving on to Stage 7, Jaburo Battle. Final battle. We've reached Jaburo, but it's under attack by Zeon forces. Mass-produced GMS are already engaged, but fast red mobile suits are also appearing. One of the screenshots shows Gundam fighting a red Zagak, and there's a question: is that Char? Suggesting a familiar red enemy is present here. It reinforces the idea that underwater Zagaks are powerful, and again emphasizes that beam sabers are more effective than beam rifles in this environment. The page also gives a tactical hint to watch out for ceiling rocks and attacks from both above and below, advising to attack from below with rifles while being careful of counterattacks. It looks like these underwater stages are going to be quite challenging and require a different combat approach. This page is all about the upcoming King of Fighters 95 game. It's hyped as a major release, and the page delves into the game's story and what to expect. The main story section talks about invitations being sent out to fighters worldwide for the King of Fighters tournament, hosted by R, who is revealed to be Rugal Bernstein, the antagonist from the previous KOF. There's a mystery about his return, considering what happened previously, and it sets up the narrative for the 95 tournament. It mentions that most teams are returning from the previous game, but there's one new team in the mix. It highlights the American sports team from the last game is gone, replaced by Billy Kane, Eiji Kisaragi, and Iori Yagami. These new characters are joining the KOF tournament for their own reasons, including revenge and settling old scores. The section titled KOF clarifies that KOF stands for King of Fighters and is a crossover series bringing together characters from Skunk's popular franchises like Art of Fighting and Fatal Fury. It positions KOF as a major annual fighting game event. There's a completion percentage box suggesting the game is still in development but nearing completion. The reviewer expresses excitement, anticipating the game will be great on the Saturn and hoping players will enjoy it as an arcade-perfect experience. They seem particularly excited about bringing the arcade gameplay home to the Saturn. King of Fighters 95 on SEGA Saturn features several key gameplay mechanics. Attack evasion allows players to avoid attacks by pressing A and B, while counterattacks can be initiated after successful evasion. Power charge builds the power gauge with ABC, enhancing attacks. Guard cancel, a max power technique, lets players counter during guard. Super jump provides a higher jump. Pursuit attacks target downed opponents, and support attacks bring in a teammate when the player's health is low. An interview with Takeshi Simoto highlights the depth of the core gameplay beyond the edit mode. Mastering attack evasion and power charging is recommended. Umemoto emphasizes the strategic depth and fun of support attacks for beginners and experts alike. This page announces Fatal Fury 3, Road to the Final Victory, coming soon to SEGA Saturn. It highlights this as the latest entry in the Fatal Fury series and a faithful port of the Neo Geo version, emphasizing the excitement surrounding its Saturn release. The page details the game's core concept, which blends the speed and exhilaration of Fatal Fury 2 and Special with fresh, engaging gameplay. The main story of 3 focuses on secret scrolls and conflicts between organizations, featuring returning characters like Terry Bogard and Jui Bogard, Joe Higashi, and Mai Shiranui, along with Blue Mary and Ryuji Yamazaki. Geese Howard is also mentioned as making a complete revival. The fighting system introduces a 3-line battle system with combination arts and super deadly moves, promising intense battles. The screenshots showcase in-game action and character portraits, including shots of Terry Bogard and Blue Mary in combat. It also mentions that Fatal Fury 3 will have 3 female characters, including Blue Mary and May, with new costumes and moves, further enriching the series and bringing a fresh feel to the battles. The system setup is described as largely unchanged from the previous installments. The article chronicles the history of the Fatal Fury series, starting with the original Fatal Fury, King of Fighters in 1991. This game introduced the innovative 2-line battle system and iconic characters like Terry and Jerry and Joe battling Geese Howard. Subsequent installments, Fatal Fury 2, 1993, and Fatal Fury Special, 1994, expanded the roster and added features like super deadly moves and new characters. Fatal Fury Special notably included Duck King, Billy Kane, and Ryuji Yamazaki, with the option to unlock Ryo Sakazaki. The article then expands to include the Fatal Fury characters' integration into Strunk's King of Fighters series and mentions a quiz game. An SNK interview with Mr. Umemoto highlights the importance of the 2-line system and the evolution of the series. He recommends experiencing all 3 original games to appreciate the franchise's progression. This page is an advertisement for the upcoming SEGA Saturn fighting game, Ninku the Screaming Sky, based on the popular manga and anime series Ninku. It emphasizes that this isn't just another fighting game, declaring, "Winning with power is old news. From now on, winning is about making your opponent laugh. The game features characters from the original work and promises high-quality, smooth action. Gameplay revolves around standard fighting game controls, but introduces a special gauge system. When this gauge is full, players can unleash super deadly moves, or gag techniques, which are humorous attacks. Landing these gag techniques successfully not only damages opponents, but also depletes their special gauge. The page highlights this unique gag technique mechanic as the game's defining feature, suggesting a shift from purely power-based combat to a more comical and entertaining fighting style, where laughter is a weapon. Screenshots showcase various character matchups like Tuji vs Kujun, Akari vs Kochin Suju, Asurata vs Aonirami, and Fusuke vs Chimera, along with glimpses of special moves called Bomb Fart and Snot Balloon. The game is stated to be 50% complete and scheduled for release in February at a price of 5,800 yen, supporting 2-player battles. The overall tone suggests excitement for this unique fighting game that prioritizes humor and gag techniques over conventional combat. This page introduces J.League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru, a SEGA Saturn game where you manage your own J.League soccer club. The page highlights the anticipation for the game, stating it brings the dream of running your own club to reality and boasts of incredibly realistic soccer game scenes. The feature focuses on the office commands, showcasing different aspects of club management. These include personnel management, like hiring and firing staff, negotiating player contracts, scouting both domestic and foreign players, and arranging for player study abroad programs. The game also allows you to manage facilities, specifically upgrading the clubhouse, stadium, and training grounds to improve your team. Screenshots illustrate these management options, showing in-game menus and scenes related to player contracts, scout reports, and facility upgrades. The text emphasizes the depth of club management available, from training players to managing finances and stadium facilities, all presented within the game's office command structure. The game is described as being 75% complete and scheduled for release in February, priced at 6,800 yen and supporting password battles for competitive play. The overall tone is enthusiastic, promising a deeply engaging soccer club management simulation. This page delves into the world of 3x3 Eyes Seima Kurinden for the SEGA Saturn, showcasing character introductions and some behind-the-scenes insights. The page is titled South Town Hall Lone Production Cell Character Introductions, highlighting that the character artwork is cell animation borrowed from South Town Hall. The page introduces the main characters, Pai and Yakumo, providing detailed descriptions for each. Yakumo is described as the protagonist, whose fate is intertwined with pain after a fateful encounter leading to his immortality. Pai is introduced as a mysterious girl with a 300-year-old history and multiple personalities, including her gentle persona and her powerful Sanxian Unkara form. We also get introductions to Benares and Lingling, though less detailed than the main duo. Benares is mentioned as a powerful demon god and Lingling as a subordinate demon general under Benares. There's a section about the SEGA Saturn version Hong Kong location scouting trip, where the staff visited Hong Kong for research, particularly for the background art and environments in the game, emphasizing their dedication to quality. The page mentions eating lots of delicious food and charging up their batteries, suggesting a fun and productive trip. The completion rate box states the game is 35% complete at this stage, with comments from Nihon Create Ito, mentioning powered-up Saturn features, a special opening with a theme song by Miss Ek Ogata, and new cuts and animations. They are excited about the special features, but lament the lack of space to elaborate further in the magazine. 3x3 Eyes, Seima Kurinden, introduces characters from the original manga alongside new characters to expand the game's story. Returning characters include Lai Lingling, Steve Long, Harat Horn, and Narupa. New characters like Tsukika and Meihua are central to the gameplay. Tsukika uses 8 treasure dishes to solve incidents in her village, while Meihua is a skilled feng shui master. Other original characters include Bika, Yu, Garyo, King Owner, Kogyoku, Liang President, Enji, and a detective. The game promises dynamic storytelling, where player choices affect dialogue and scenes, incentivizing multiple playthroughs to experience all content. The reviewer highlights the game's character depth and branching storylines. This page is all about Chibi Maruko-chan no Teisen Puzzle Dama for the SEGA Saturn, a puzzle game based on the popular anime. It highlights that this game originated in arcades and is now on Saturn, promising intense puzzle battles. The page emphasizes that even though it's a puzzle game, it's still very much Maruchan, capturing the character's charm. It explains the core gameplay, which involves matching and clearing groups of 2 or more falling balls, either horizontally or vertically. It seems like you can send garbage or attacks to your opponent by creating chains and combos, adding a competitive edge. The page mentions big balls and small balls as part of the gameplay mechanics.
There's a section detailing a town puzzle ball tournament where 8 players compete.
You pick your favorite Chibi Maruko-chan character and aim to beat the other 7, including Grandpa Tamazu, in puzzle battles. The gameplay screenshots show examples of sending balls to the opponent's field, indicating the competitive versus nature of the game. The review in the text states that the game captures the essence of the original arcade version perfectly and encourages players to try it out. The release date is mentioned as December 8th, with a price of 5,800 yen. It's described as a puzzle game for 12 players, suggesting both single-player and versus modes.
Chibi Maruko-chan no Taisen Puzzle Dama is a puzzle battle game built upon the arcade game, emphasizing chain reactions and junk-sending gameplay. It stays true to the anime's spirit, offering a unique experience beyond just puzzle mechanics. 8 characters are playable in the town puzzle ball tournament, each with distinct attack ball patterns to disrupt opponents. These patterns, familiar to arcade players, create columns, rows, or pyramid-shaped junk. Notably, Grandpa Tamazu is only playable in versus mode. The game features anime-accurate win/loss screens, with exaggerated character reactions, and evolving faces based on chain combos for added humor. Viewers highlight the game's charm, praising its faithfulness to the source material and voice acting that mirrors the TV anime.
This page showcases the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Darius Gaiden. They're calling it a shooting that can play and also speak, implying a deeper experience than just gameplay. It's stated as 90% complete and slated for release on December 15th, costing around 5,800 yen. It's a shooting game supporting 2 players simultaneously and is suitable for all ages. The reviewer seems really impressed, saying they were almost done with shooters until they saw Darius Gaiden and were blown away. They praised the graphical power, the power-up system, and how it captures the scale of an arcade game, plus it has 2-player mode. They highlight the music, visual effects, enemy attacks, and boss battles, creating a unique, empty, yet captivating world. The page then gives a closer look at stages Zone P through Zone U. Zone P is set in a grand, mechanical space with ruins over the sea. Zone Q is a cold, icy world. Zone AR is a desert setting with rock formations. Zone ACE is set in sandy ruins with ancient relics.
Zone A looks like a cityscape with unique buildings and an evening setting.
Zone appears similar to Zone AOP in structure. Each zone description also hints at the location of a one-up item, urging players to search for them. The next page continues the Darius Gaiden hype, stating that a multi-tap is required for 4-player mode, even though the game is for 2 players, implying it's for using multiple controllers, perhaps for rapid fire or comfort. They also highlight the difficulty settings in Darius Gaiden, from easy to very hard, suggesting very hard for seasoned players looking for a real challenge. Moving on to the bosses, the page introduces Krusty Hammer, the stage boss for zones P, R, and T. They describe it as not particularly strong compared to later bosses, but it still uses diverse attacks. The advice is to use bombs effectively, as that's its weakness, and to carefully observe its movements. Next up is Deadly Crescent, the boss for zones Q, S, and U. This boss is described as being weaker than Krusty Hammer, mainly uses ranged attacks. And the recommended strategy is to get in close and attack its weak spot directly. Finally, they mention a mid-boss called Kobudai, which appears in all zones from Seep Through Us.
This enemy is a laser firing type, and the key to defeating it is to position yourself correctly to avoid the lasers and get in your shots. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Fist of the North Star, It's hyping up the player versus player battle mode and the adventure game style elements. The page shows the game is 100% complete and scheduled for release on December 22nd. There's a section called Developer's Hot Message, where the team talks about putting a lot of effort into the game, leveraging the Creedrum format to create something with impressive animation and volume. They mention that reading your opponent's moves and not giving up are key to victory in battles. They also hint that the story mode will feature encounters with skilled female martial artists and various locations like Holy Grounds and Emperor Suther's Castle. Another section focuses on successive encounters with the Nanto survivors, highlighting the locations of Waterfowl Fist Village and Dasan Town, suggesting these will be areas players will explore in the game's story. The text talks about how the flow of destiny leads Kenshiro to encounters with the Nanto and Hokuto schools. The story outlined seems to be about the aftermath of the nuclear war, with Kenshiro on a quest and facing various challenges, including past rivals and new threats. This page delves deeper into the upcoming Fist of the North Star game, introducing two key characters that Kenshiro will face, Zaki and Gyaran, both masters of the Nanto Seiken style. Zaki is depicted as a noble Nanto Seiken successor, driven by justice. He uses techniques like the Waterbird Fist. Gyaran, on the other hand, is a Nanto Seiken user, fueled by revenge against the Hokuto Shinken style. His moveset includes the Fang Wolf Fist and the Crosscut. The page highlights that Kenshiro's strength will evolve based on the scenario, and that the battle mode uses a password system. A cool feature mentioned is that Kenshiro can learn secret techniques from his opponents as he progresses, enhancing gameplay depth. The bottom section teases story elements, questioning if past mistakes will be repeated. It hints at a scenario involving the Holy Emperor Suther and the Holy Cross Mausoleum, along with locations like Gyaran's Town, suggesting a narrative that revisits past events and expands upon the game's adventure aspects previously mentioned. This page is all about Burning Baseball 95 Doubleheader for the SEGA Saturn, a game that looks like it's aiming to be the ultimate baseball experience. It's boasting about its brand new multi-battery screen feature, letting you view the action from pitcher, batter, and even a combined versus perspective simultaneously. Pretty cool for getting different angles on the plays. They're also highlighting power-ups to the gameplay, emphasizing realistic play-by-play commentary and stadium atmosphere to really immerse you in the game. There's a big focus on customization, too. You can dive into League Edit mode to create your dream pennant race, setting up your own leagues and pitting all 12 baseball teams against each other. Plus, there's a 95 baseball card feature, which seems to be like a collectible aspect, letting you gather and view player stats and data, much like real baseball cards. And if you're into team building, there's an edit mode that lets you create your own original team, customizing player names, abilities, and even uniform numbers, giving you full control to build your perfect squad. The page excitedly announces the game is 100% complete and ready to go, even listing a release date and price. They're really pushing the realistic presentation and deep gameplay features of Burning Baseball 95 Doubleheader, aiming to deliver a truly immersive baseball experience on the Saturn. This page showcases Quo Vadis, a SEGA Saturn SF simulation game that's just reached 100% completion and is coming soon. The page highlights the game's themes of ideal and reality clashing and asks, what is the future of youth tormented in the gap? The article mentions that Quo Vadis is a year in the making and is now complete, emphasizing its unique gameplay system, which combines simultaneous movement and attacks, and a multi-scenario storyline. The reviewer is excited about the story and data details related to battle scenes, and wants to give readers information to consider before purchasing. There are sections on the game's historical background and incident just before the centennial ceremony. The historical context talks about a future where humanity has expanded into space and conflicts arise over resources. The incident section sets the scene at a military academy where an incident is about to unfold right before a major centennial ceremony, hinting at a dramatic story involving young cadets like the protagonist Bruto Coca, Wolf, Irina, and Benjamin and Addie from Keen's Reed. Screenshots show character portraits and in-game scenes that suggest a strategic gameplay style. There's also a comment from a character, presumably Bruto, mentioning Bruto Coca hometown is the land of Holding Land Cadet Academy Supplementary Student Command Life, which sounds like a key plot point about his background and mission. The page ends teasing more to come on the story and gameplay, setting up anticipation for Quo Vadis. This page is all about the core gameplay of Quo Vadis, breaking down how the game flows and the importance of fleet organization and ship types. It explains the game's structure in 6 steps: story progression, intermission for setup, fleet organization, movement map and battles, checking battle results, and finally, fleet formation. A key point is the 7 types of warships and the captains who ride them. It details the different ships you can use, emphasizing that choosing the right combination and assigning captains is vital. These ship types include the well-rounded battlecruiser, the carrier for aerial combat, the heavily armored heavy cruiser, the long-range missile cruiser, the powerful gunship, the fast light cruiser, and the crucial supply ship. Each ship has a distinct role in battle, like the battlecruiser being balanced, carriers controlling airspace, and missile cruisers providing support fire. The page highlights that captains level up and grow through battles, suggesting a character development element. It's stressed that balancing your fleet is key, and understanding each ship's strengths will be crucial for strategy. Essentially, this page is diving into the tactical heart of Quo Vadis, showing players how to build and manage their fleets for victory. In Quo Vadis, choosing the right combat formation is vital. This guide details 8 formations, starting with the beginner-friendly I-type, balanced, and horizontal, defense/flanking. Each formation, including oblique, square, anti-air, crane wing, short range, and in-type, offers unique attack/movement ranges visualized with diagrams. The type is the most well-rounded. Furthermore, the game utilizes dynamic 3D CG movies during battles. These cinematic moments, featuring explosions and dramatic angles, highlight key events like ship destruction and signify battle outcomes, enhancing the overall combat experience. This page introduces Gunbird as an upcoming SEGA Saturn title, emphasizing it as a coming soon soft. The article serves as a special lecture on becoming an unfazed Gunbird pilot and continues from the previous installment to cover the initial 2 stages. The basic knowledge for play section explains the game's premise. Players control a character to collect magic mirror pieces to grant wishes, progressing through 8 stages with varied environments. Expect boss encounters before stage completion and beautiful visuals throughout. The pre-half strategy and remaining 2 stages strategy dives into strategy guide. Stage 1, Street, set in France, focuses on ground enemies, advising players to use continuous shots to deal with air enemies and to intentionally defeat round-flying enemies for item drops. The boss fight against the armored train involves 4 train cars with different attack systems. The guide advises learning the bullet patterns, especially from the last train car, and suggests keeping a bomb ready for emergencies. Tips are provided for dodging attacks from the red robot boss, advising to aim for the center. The page also highlights convenient features in the Saturn version like pause, title return, and retry options, accessible by pressing L and R buttons during gameplay. It also mentions the game is 100% complete, with a release date of December 15th, priced at 5,800 yen, and is a shooting game developed by Atlas, supporting 12 players. Gunbird's strategy guide continues with Stage 2, Mine, in Italy, featuring the underground tank vehicle boss. Players must watch for air and ground attacks and collect items for effective combat. The boss, a robot, has predictable attacks but a dangerous transformation sequence. Players should anticipate bullet barrages and zigzag patterns, using bombs strategically. A developer interview reveals the arcade-first design philosophy. The controls are intuitive, utilizing the R button for continuous fire and L/AR for options. The game aims for a stress-free experience with voice acting, songs, and secrets, including a monkey mode. The background music is described as anthem-like, and villains feature voice actors from Time Bokan. The developer hints at future projects, including a Sengoku Ace Saturn port and a potential Atlas rail shooter. This page highlights Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner as an upcoming SEGA Saturn title, boasting 85% completion. The article looks back at the history of the Mega 10 series, suggesting this new Devil Summoner aims to be more approachable for newcomers, while retaining the deep, engaging elements fans expect. It points out that past Mega 10 games might have seemed daunting to new players, but this one seeks to be more accessible, focusing on the core appeal of demon summoning. The page details key gameplay aspects, like negotiating with demons, not just fighting them. You can talk to demons in battle, persuade them, and even bribe them with items or money to join your party. This negotiation element adds depth beyond typical RPG combat. Demon fusion is also showcased as a major feature, allowing players to combine demons and create entirely new ones, a staple of the Mega 10 experience. Finally, the page touches upon the Law and Chaos alignment system, a fundamental aspect of the series where demons and characters are categorized, influencing gameplay and story.
Screenshots illustrate these features, including battle scenes, menu screens, and demon fusion interfaces.
Tables briefly list demon types and their attributes.
The next page is showcasing two games from the Shin Megami Tensei series, Shin Megami Tensei 2 and Shin Megami Tensei If, both for the Super Famicom. It seems to be a coming soon soft section, highlighting anticipated titles. For Shin Megami Tensei 2, the article emphasizes upgrades to the computer interface, making gameplay smoother and more intuitive. Features, like auto-mapping and easier-to-read status displays, are mentioned as improvements. The battle system is also upgraded, with smoother transitions and more dynamic visuals during magic use. Auto-battle is also mentioned as being easier to use. Shin Megami Tensei If is presented as introducing new elements to the series. The Guardian system is a key feature where demons protect the protagonist and partner, growing stronger as the main characters develop. Battles are described as being more realistic and graphically enhanced, especially magic effects. Finally, there's a Megaton terminology dictionary section explaining core concepts of the series. It defines nakama as companions made through negotiation and magatama as key items prevalent in the game world. It also touches on the importance of attribute, which is the law and chaos alignment system affecting demon personalities and relationships. Devil Analyze is explained as a player function for analyzing demon data, and Moon Age as a game mechanic affecting demon encounters and events, highlighting its significance in Megaten games. This page is highlighting Ochan no Okaki Logic for the SEGA Saturn, a cute-looking picture logic puzzle game where you use numerical hints to fill in squares and reveal an image. The page explains the simple rules, stating you look at the numbers along the rows and columns to determine which squares to fill in and which to mark with an X. A key feature emphasized are these special attacks, performed by 8 different characters. These attacks seem to function as helper tools during gameplay. For example, Goggle Attack reveals a portion of the answer, while Headbutt Attack breaks squares in a line, and Tea Pouring Attack refills your hand, likely meaning attempts or actions. Other character attacks include things like using sound waves, extending a neck, blowing bubbles, summoning thunder, and using a penguin. These seem to offer various puzzle-solving aids and hints to the player. The page also introduces Ochan as a character who debuted in a Famicom game called Hebe, suggesting a history and background to this mascot. The game is presented as a fun and engaging puzzle experience, published by Sunsoft, priced at 4,900 yen, and featuring both puzzle and 2-player modes. It's also compatible with the shuttle mouse for control. Ochan no Okaki Logic offers 5 gameplay modes. Story mode tasks you with rescuing Hebe, progressing through map stages, and picture logic puzzles. Niruma mode is a time attack mode with over 200 puzzles, unlocking a Giga difficult mode upon completion. Taihen mode is a 2-player competitive mode where players race to complete shared puzzles, offering fast-paced gameplay with time limits and character selection. Random mode allows for continuous puzzle solving without time constraints. Lastly, Edit mode lets you create and share custom puzzles with size options of 5x5, 10x10, and 15x15. The game provides diverse experiences, from narrative adventures to competitive challenges and creative puzzle design. This page introduces Wizard's Harmony, a new simulation game for the SEGA Saturn that's almost finished at 99% completion and coming out in December from Arc System Works. The page emphasizes the game's focus on growing characters within a school club setting. You take on the role of a club leader at Wizards Academy, which is facing closure due to lack of members. Your goal is to revitalize the club and enjoy student life for a year. The game is described as easy to pick up, even for beginners to simulation games. The gameplay loop involves recruiting members, studying for magic skill exams in fire, water, wind, and earth magic, participating in academy events both inside and outside the school, and generally trying to raise the profile of the academy. There are over 40 different endings to aim for, depending on your actions during the year. A reviewer highlights that despite being a simulation game, it doesn't feel overly restrictive with commands, giving a sense of freedom to enjoy campus life with 15 beautiful girl characters, 5 of whom can be involved in one playthrough. The game also features various events, like summer camps and birthdays, to deepen bonds with your club members, and requests from the town to raise your academy's reputation. It seems like a light-hearted and character-focused simulation game. Wizards Harmony introduces its main characters, all Academy members recruitable in the game. The page details 12 characters, split into main characters and OB, alumni. Each profile lists name, grade, birthday, blood type, and a personality/role description, with reviewer notes on appeal. The main characters include Rufus Crown, player character, Cynthia Lapdes, Janet Yerdica, Rachel Vancia, Alicia Vincent, Sistina Marley, Sonia Iselbert, Melissa Ischia, Rieger Packard, Cecil Light, Max Maxwell, and Chester Bovin. The OB section features Dial Mars, a graduate. Reviewers praise the diverse personalities and designs, emphasizing the game's character-driven focus and the opportunity to build relationships within the Academy setting. This page showcases the upcoming racing game Dead Heat for the SEGA Saturn, boasting a "Coming Soon" soft banner. It seems development is nearing completion, hitting 100% according to the page, with focus on refining the two-player mode and debugging, with comments from a developer named Yoshida expressing confidence in the game's quality and encouraging players to anticipate its release. The page emphasizes the game's realism, highlighting improvements in car physics and handling, promising a more immersive driving experience, especially with a racing controller. Course design is also touted, focusing on speed and thrilling tunnel sections and dynamic lighting effects. A quirky section titled, "Anyone Can Look Back 10 Shore Gal" spotlights 10 shore gals, which appear to be featured in the game's promotional material, possibly in FMV sequences. Character profiles with names like Mickey H, Riri, K-Dan, Marin, and Mickey U are presented with points describing their personalities and roles. For example, Riri is described as a performer who loves fast speeds, and Marin is portrayed as a rhythmic cornering expert. The page mentions these shore gals are part of the game's visual flair and are responsible for the background music during in-game scenes, adding to the atmosphere. Lastly, there's a section showing behind the scenes, filming scenery snapshots depicting the shore gals being filmed, suggesting extensive use of live-action video footage within the game or promotional content. The Dead Heat racing game's scenario mode requires strategic driving beyond just speed. Players race against 9 rivals on public roads and must align their driving style with a chosen Gal of Fortune. The test course introduces the game, emphasizing aggressive drifting, 2 or more power drifts, to succeed. Following this is the 3-course challenge, where players race through 3 stages, each allowing a new gal selection. Matching the girl's preferences to the course, high speed versus drifting, is key. Clearing the challenge unlocks a bonus stage, where players challenge the girl they raced with previously for a reward. The page also profiles 4 shore gals, providing brief character descriptions to aid player choices. This page is focused on the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Godzilla Shingeki, which translates to Godzilla Advance or Godzilla Attack. It's based on the Godzilla movie series and aims to let players relive iconic monster battles. The game is described as a real-time simulation with over 15 stages. There are 2 main modes: Story Mode, which follows an original storyline, and Battle Mode, which allows players to select stages and play freely. The game features a quarter-view perspective where players command anti-Godzilla units to protect the city. The goal is to defeat Godzilla in each stage, but failing to protect buildings or allowing unit casualties beyond a certain point can lead to game over. As players progress, their units power up, and they can enjoy intense battles. The page highlights the variety of playable units, including tanks and special vehicles like the Maser Cannon Tank and Super Mechagodzilla. It also emphasizes the large roster of monsters from the Godzilla universe that will appear, including Rodan, Mothra, Mechagodzilla, and Moguera. The game aims to faithfully recreate the monsters' movements and abilities based on the films. It seems players will need to strategically deploy their units to counter the monsters' attacks. Godzilla Shingeki is a simulation game with a command system featuring 9 key icons, including movement, attack/support, evade, and direction. The attack command offers weapon selection, while support provides aid-like repairs. Game information displays building/unit damage rates, terrain defense effects, and unit status. Subcommands via the B button enable actions like launching air units. System settings allow sound and screen adjustments. The game will feature Cinepack recreations of Godzilla movie scenes. The text also announces the inclusion of Destoroyah, a formidable enemy with multiple forms, promising a challenging gameplay experience. This page introduces Lode Runner Legend returns for the Sega Saturn, a modern revival of the classic puzzle action game. It's touted as a masterpiece resurrected for the current generation. The game is reported to be 80% complete and is scheduled for release on January 26th, priced at 5,800 yen. It's described as an action puzzle game that supports two-player simultaneous play and is recommended for all ages. The page details the basic rules of Lode Runner, where players control a character who digs holes to the left and right to navigate and collect all the treasures in a maze while avoiding enemies. Direct attacks are not possible, but digging holes is key.
This version adds new item types like bombs and traps to enhance gameplay. The article highlights using items strategically for clearing levels, showcasing bombs for big explosions, and remnants that can create upside-down hanging traps. It also emphasizes using the terrain to your advantage, such as sticky ground, and hiding in holes to evade enemies. Two-player mode is mentioned as offering both cooperative and competitive play. Finally, an edit mode is confirmed, allowing players to create their own original levels.
This page is all about the Sega Saturn game, Bug. It's described as a 3D action game where you play as Bug, a Hollywood star insect, aiming to make a successful movie and earn $1 million. The game takes place in Bug World, which is divided into 5 levels, each with colorful 3D maps. These maps include normal stages, boss stages, bonus stages, and roulette stages, and they're designed with lots of traps and gimmicks to keep things interesting. The page highlights some helpful items you can collect in the game: blue crystals, coins, bug juice, and stunt items. Blue crystals give you extra lives, coins are for points, bug juice replenishes health, and stunt provides temporary invincibility.
We also get to meet the characters.
Bug is the main character, a popular Hollywood star insect. The antagonist is Katafura Queen, a large ant queen, and the boss of the movie Bug is trying to film. There's also Daddy O, who seems to be an ally, and collecting coins lets you access bonus stages featuring him. The page details Bug's actions: jump attack, spit attack, and crouch. Jump attacks involve stomping enemies. Spit attacks are projectile attacks, and crouching lets you avoid enemy attacks and access hidden areas. Finally, there's a Sega Bug Pants present promotion. Sega is giving away Bug-branded pants to 5 lucky people who apply by mail with their details before December 24th. It's a special gift to celebrate the release of Bug. This page is showcasing the upcoming Sega Saturn puzzle game, PD Ultraman Link. It's highlighted as a falling block puzzle game with a cute Ultraman theme that's easy to pick up but has surprising depth. The game is about 80% complete at this point and is set for release in February, although the price is still undecided. It's for 1 or 2 players and suitable for all ages.
The article raves about the game's rendering and how well it fits the Ultraman universe. They emphasize the addictive nature of the puzzle gameplay and the charm of the rendered Ultraman characters. A key feature they point out is the special moves. By matching 4 or more blocks of the same color, you can unleash unique special attacks for each of the 10 playable characters. We get a glimpse of some of these characters and their abilities. There's Ultraman, who is described as well-balanced, Ultra 7 with capsule monsters for attack, Ultraman Ace using capsule monsters as well, Ultraman Taro, who is similar to Ultraman but focused on attack, Ultraman Leo, who is defense-oriented, leaking using lightning attacks, King Joe with barrier abilities, Zeton, who can change opponents' blocks, and Baltan, who reflects opponents' blocks. Each character's special move is briefly described, hinting at different playstyles and strategic depth. The page promises a fun and engaging puzzle experience with familiar Ultraman characters and exciting special moves. This page is all about the upcoming Sega Saturn game, The Horde. It's being touted as a unique overseas game that will keep you hooked, blending city-building simulation with real-time action. The game is advertised as 90% complete and slated for release on January 26th, priced at 5,800 yen, and is a single-player simulation suitable for all ages. The main theme is protecting your village from monstrous hordes. The article emphasizes seasonal changes impacting gameplay and the crucial role of cows as a valuable resource. Screenshots showcase the isometric village perspective, managing cows, tax collection, and even constructing knights for defense. Key characters introduced are Slap King, Cronus Mailer the Great, and Win Chansey, alongside the visually striking horde monsters.
The reviewer seems excited about the game's genre-bending nature and quirky world, describing it as a unique and engaging experience. Gameplay elements highlighted include resource management, tax collection, and buying items to defend against the Horde. Overall, The Horde is presented as a distinctive and captivating title for Sega Saturn gamers. Shutoku Battle 97 boasts high replayability with 7 secrets and 10 or more endings. The game emphasizes reflex shooting mechanics, requiring skill and precision, as highlighted by the control scheme of Alexis Hawkfield. Players will navigate 8 diverse stages, each with unique enemies and challenges. Stages include a crystal cave, a mysterious forest, a dragon-themed castle, and more. The game also uses laser-active Huldrum technology and features voice acting by popular voice actors, including ad-libs, to enhance the experience. This page showcases the upcoming Sega Saturn title Death Mask, a near-future movie-adventure game utilizing cutting-edge CG. The core concept is that your actions directly influence the movie-like story and ending, offering a dynamic and engaging experience. The game features over 30 characters, including an angel named Serena Jeroen, who can be an ally or enemy depending on your choices. One key gameplay element highlighted is the mask and heart system. As you interact with characters, your mask, represented by 3 different skull icons, reflects your approach from aggressive to calm, influencing the other person's attitude and the unfolding events. Choosing the right mask for each situation seems crucial. The story setup involves the player character waking up in a hospital with a Yakuza face, implying they've undergone some kind of transformation. They then pursue an angel in Neo City, a dark and dangerous urban environment, encountering various characters like the criminal kingpin Angel Devoid, the bar owner Serena Jeroen involved in software crime, the organ dealer Drive, Sylvanas, the enigmatic Mr. Digit, and the Destrive tribe. The gameplay promises constant danger and decision-making, with every action shaping the narrative. The page also hints at item usage, showing an item called an overray chip, used to open doors, and emphasizes that your choices and actions will lead to different outcomes in the story. The overall tone suggests a gritty, mature, and branching narrative adventure game. This page is all about the upcoming fishing game, Matsukata Hiroki's World Fishing, for the Sega Saturn. It's presented as a realistic fishing simulation game, where you can enjoy various fishing styles, from trolling to bass fishing. Apparently, popular fishing personality Hiroki Matsukata is involved and provides guidance in the game. The page highlights 4 game modes. First, there's a lecture mode, where you can learn about fishing tackle and techniques from Matsukata himself, through video and voice explanations. Then, there's a beginner mode for practice, also with advice from Matsukata. Free fishing mode lets you enjoy casual fishing in a world that reflects real-world fishing environments. And tournament mode is where you compete to catch the biggest fish within a set time limit. An interesting aspect mentioned is the gal and date reward system. If you perform well in tournaments, you can go on dates with in-game female characters, featuring real video footage. The game is 80% complete, and the page mentions it was filmed on location in Australia, aiming for realistic graphics and gameplay. The release date is mentioned as January 26th, with a price of 5,800 yen. It's emphasized as a single-player game. There's also a bus fishing mode mentioned, suggesting it's a more specific fishing style within the game. Overall, it seems like a comprehensive fishing simulator, with a focus on realism and guidance from a fishing expert, with a quirky dating reward for tournament success. Quiz OU Kedaisen DX, Quiz King Decision Match DX, is a new, comedic quiz game from Yoshimoto, a Japanese entertainment company. It's designed as a hilarious, all-out experience, featuring Yoshimoto comedians. The game offers multiple modes, including a Quiz King Decision Match and Select 9 mode, packed with gags and aiming for unique fun. One notable mode is Ken Pai-chan's Quiz RPG, a quiz-based RPG where players answer questions to defeat monsters and rescue a princess, set in Osaka. This mode incorporates RPG elements like magic and items. The game also features quiz corners and minigames for up to 4 players to compete for the Quiz King title. These minigames include action-oriented challenges with silly questions, such as Early Press Quiz Corner, Gaikuten Kirame Race, and others, each with a unique and humorous premise. Hayake no Omoid plus Haimekuri is a unique puzzle game for the Sega Saturn, described as a non-falling puzzle game featuring swimsuit models. The game has 3 modes. Movie puzzle, where players assemble jigsaw puzzles to unlock video clips starring different models.
Versus puzzle, a 2-player competitive mode with 48 large puzzle pieces, items, and CPU opponents. And calendar puzzle, which provides a new swimsuit photo daily for a year. The versus puzzle mode includes items like escort, bomb, mirror, and tornado. A suntan memories campaign tournament formation is also mentioned. The game, priced at 5,800 yen, releases on December 8th and is compatible with the Saturn mouse.
This page is a preview for the Sega Saturn game Pro Mahjong Kiwami Ease, which boasts being an authentic 4-player Mahjong experience. It highlights that the game is based on professional Mahjong leagues and is designed for players who enjoyed Super Famicom Mahjong games, but are looking for a more hardcore experience on the Saturn. With enhanced graphics and sound, the advertisement emphasizes that the game is complete and perfect for both learning and enjoying Mahjong. It promises a full suite of modes and even invites players to participate in pro-level simulated tournaments. The game is priced at 6,800 yen, slated for a January release, and supports up to 4 players using the tab controller, but is primarily a 1-player experience. The page showcases several key features. It confirms that you can play against professional Mahjong players within the game. There's an analysis match mode, which is designed to help players study their own playing style by providing detailed data and graphs on their tendencies. The Mahjong quiz mode caters to all skill levels, presenting what to discard scenarios with advice from pro players to improve skills. The challenge match mode offers a map of Japan where players progress through checkpoints with clear conditions to fulfill, competing with rivals in what's described as special matches. The game is also packed with data presented in easy-to-read 4-color graphs to help players understand their gameplay deeply. The overall tone suggests a serious and challenging Mahjong experience. The article visits Red Company, developers of Sakura Wars, and Magic Knight Rayearth. Despite rumors of a secret base, the office is surprisingly ordinary. Reached via subway and a 15-minute walk. The secret war room is a standard conference room, where the president sometimes wears a black bandana. Founded in 1976, Red Company began as a children's planning group, and later worked with Disney. They've produced anime like Mashinhiro Wataru, and games such as Necros no Yusai. The office itself is described as well-organized, a typical work environment. The article concludes with a giveaway of signed manuscript paper by Hiroi Uji, ideal for aspiring artists. Future issues will feature in-depth coverage of Sakura Wars and related content. This page is a guide focusing on Sega Saturn software that has been released. It's titled, The Sega Saturn Soft Complete Guide. The page highlights games they haven't been able to cover in detail previously due to scheduling issues, specifically mentioning Dragon Ball Z, The Legend, and Fatal Fury, referred to here as Guru, King of the Spirits. The guide indicates page 174 for Dragon Ball Z The Legend, and page 178 for Guru, King of the Spirits. The image shows 2 polygonal characters in a fighting game pose, illustrating the action game focus of the guide. This page is a complete command guide for Dragon Ball Z The Legend, or as it's known in Japan, Dragon Ball Z True Butoden. The guide is all about mastering the game's combat. It emphasizes becoming a skilled player by learning all the special moves, including powerful demo special moves, like the Demon Light Flash, and devastating Meteor Smash attacks. The page gives tips on how to effectively use these special moves in battle, focusing on the power gauge, and positioning to land hits and avoid counterattacks. There's also advice on defending against these powerful moves, recommending guarding and dodging techniques using specific button combinations. The main part of the page is a practical command table that lists moves for different characters: Son Goku, Teen Gohan, and Piccolo. The move lists are color-coded, with green for demo special moves, blue for Meteor Smash attacks, and black for regular moves. For each character, there are screenshots demonstrating some of their moves, giving players a visual idea of the action. It's a pretty comprehensive guide to getting to grips with the fighting mechanics of Dragon Ball Z, The Legend. This page continues the in-depth command guide for Dragon Ball Z, The Legend, or True Butoden, focusing on a range of playable characters and their movesets. It presents detailed move lists for characters like Vegeta, Trunks in both his regular and Super Saiyan 3 forms, Piccolo, Mr. Satan, Zarbon, and Rikum. Each character section breaks down their attacks into categories, such as energy blasts, kin attacks, and special moves. The guide uses a star rating system and letter grades to indicate the effectiveness or power of each move, alongside controller inputs likely for the Sega Saturn. Screenshots are included to visually demonstrate some of the moves in action for each character, giving players a better understanding of how they look in the game. It seems like this page is designed to be a comprehensive resource for players wanting to master different characters in Dragon Ball Z, The Legend, expanding on the combat fundamentals introduced in the previous pages. The variety of characters covered suggests the game offers a diverse roster, with unique fighting styles to explore.
This page continues the character move breakdowns for Dragon Ball Z, The Legend. It details move lists for a further 8 characters: Captain Ginyu, Frieza, Cell, Dabura, Majin Buu, Super Buu, Krillin, and Tien Shinhan. Each character's section is organized similarly to the previous page, listing various attacks like energy blasts, kin attacks, and special moves. The moves are rated with stars and letter grades, presumably indicating their power and effectiveness in gameplay. Captain Ginyu's moves include familiar attacks like his energy blast and body change ability. Frieza's section showcases his signature moves such as Death Beam and Death Ball, plus psychic attacks. Cell has moves like Kamehameha and Perfect Attack. Dabura features moves like Devil's Fire, and Majin Buu and Super Buu have moves like Candy Beam, various kicks and punches. Krillin's list includes his Destructo Disc and Solar Flare, while Tien Shinhan's section highlights moves like Tri-Beam and Volleyball Fist. The page uses screenshots to illustrate some of the moves in action, giving players a visual guide to how they look and function within the game. It's a helpful resource for players looking to explore the diverse fighting styles of these characters and master their movesets in Dragon Ball Z, The Legend. This page continues the character breakdowns for Dragon Ball Z, The Legend, showcasing move lists for 8 more characters. We have Android 18, featuring attacks like Energy Blasts, Energy Drain, and her infinite energy moves, and Android 16 with his powerful Rocket Punch and Body Press attacks. Next up is Great Saiyaman, who has comical superhero poses and moves like Justice Punch and Justice Kick, alongside Energy Blasts. Supreme Kai is also featured with moves like Energy Blasts and Shocking Supreme Kai Fists and Energy Slash. Then we have Gotenks, with fusion-powered attacks like Death Drill Missiles and Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack, followed by Master Roshi showing off his classic Turtle School moves such as Kamehameha and Lightning Flash Surprise. Gogeta makes an appearance with powerful fusion techniques including Soul Punisher and Big Bang Kamehameha. Finally, Kid Goku showcases his youthful fighting style with moves like Power Pole attacks and Kamehameha. Each character's move list is presented with star ratings and letter grades to give an indication of their effectiveness in battle. The page uses screenshots to give players a visual idea of how some of these moves look in the game. This page is all about conquering the power slide course in the game King the Spirits. The magazine team actually visited the real-life location that inspired the course in the game, going there to experience it firsthand and compare it to the virtual version. They've really gone all out, using a fully tuned car to time attack the power slide course and explore the actual location. They highlight different aspects of the course, pointing out features like the uphill slope, parallel trees, and a bridge that are present in both the game and the real world. There's also mention of brake failure zones on the downhill sections, adding to the challenge. Apparently, at the peak of the course, there's even a 360-degree turn, and further along, uphill slopes combined with continuous curves really put your driving skills to the test. The page also introduces the Gymkhana course mode, explaining how to access it from the mode select screen, and that it's an easy way to enjoy the game with simple button presses. They even filmed at night to capture the atmosphere of the location, emphasizing the dangers and the strong winds they faced, truly dedicating themselves to experiencing the course in all conditions. Overall, it seems like a deep dive into the power slide course, comparing the game experience with the real-world inspiration behind it. This guide details how to conquer the power slide course in King the Spirits. It recommends a Type E car tuning setup for optimal performance, prioritizing cornering and high speed with engine tuning, specific parts, weight reduction, and roll bars. The guide provides specific driving advice, including accelerating from the start,
navigating curves and tunnels, and tackling a right hairpin.
The 360-degree turn requires drifting, while the uphill climb demands caution. The downhill section necessitates maintaining speed with controlled drifts. For continuous curves, grip driving with the Type E setup is advised. Finally, the uphill curve after the fork requires drifting. The manufacturer achieved a best lap time of 1:291, with the Saturn Magazine team at 1:08.68, demonstrating the guide's effectiveness.
This page is all about Dragon Force 2 news. It's confirmed that a sequel is in development due to overwhelming fan demand. Seems the first game was a massive hit. There's even buzz about a fan club starting for Tillis, showing how popular she is. The page also dives into the world's lore with Norn's Tale of the World History, giving us some background on the creation myths with star gods and goddesses, classic fantasy world-building stuff. In Connaissance Developer Diary, we get a glimpse into the scenario writing process. They're working hard on the dialogue for over 100 generals, finding it easier and more fun to write for these varied characters than the main hero. They mention aiming for a fighting youth group vibe for the dialogue.
The comic strips are pretty funny, featuring Tillis and others. It looks like Tillis has been voted number 8 Tillison in some kind of ranking, and the comics play around with her popularity and status as Queen Tillis. Overall, the page is building hype for Dragon Force 2 and really highlighting the characters and story. This webpage is a detailed character analysis of Tillis from Dragon Force. It begins with her profile, a 17-year-old with specific physical measurements and eyesight, and a gentle, kind, and slightly airheaded personality. Her catchphrase is, "Love is what will save Legendra." Tillis introduces herself as the Queen of Moon Palace, explaining her magical power led to her selection. She grew up in the Elf Forest and played with Wayne, and her primary goal is to protect her country from Madruk. A Dragon Force trivia quiz tests fans' deep knowledge. The Pan and Haslers section discusses the game's world, including elves, humans, and dwarves, and the history of the war with Madruk 300 years prior. Tillis also addresses rumors about her relationship with Lion, denying any bad terms, and expressing her fondness for him. The page concludes with a call for fan contributions and a contest. This page features an interview with Ryo Nichinaka, character designer for the Super Real Mahjong P2 series. Nichinaka, also known for his work on Fist of the North Star and Virtua Fighter, discusses his experience designing characters for P2. He describes the early days of game animation as experimental, with much of the process being guesswork. He mentions the smooth initial approvals and the goal of creating cute, idol-like characters. Requests for older sister or aunt-like characters were also made. The page also showcases logos and box art for various Super Real Mahjong titles, including Super Real Mahjong Graffiti, which was released by SEGA and rated for adults. The page serves as an initial retrospective interview disc featuring images of the anime-style female characters. This page continues the interview with Ryo Nichinaka, the character designer for the Super Real Mahjong series. He talks about how his drawing style has matured over time, comparing it to something that grows even if left untouched. He reflects on his experience from working on previous titles like P1, P2, and P3, which led to P4, noting the interval between projects and how his artistic feeling changed during that time. The page also points out something interesting that players might have noticed, which is the difference between the package art and the in-game graphics of Super Real Mahjong Graffiti. It mentions that the ending screens in the original game feature graphics drawn by Mr. Tanaka-sensei. Lastly, there's an advertisement for a Real Mahjong Original Goods 100-person present campaign. To celebrate the release of Super Real Mahjong Graffiti and the new articles in SEGA Saturn Magazine, they are giving away a bunch of merchandise to 100 lucky people. Prizes include graffiti secret panels, posters, pop displays, versions for Super Famicom, Macintosh, and 3D Saturn versions, stickers, calendars, original telephone cards, visual libraries, and even Fantasy Kasumi labels. To enter, you needed to send a postcard with your details and write Super Real Mahjong Series Goods Present, along with your desired prize. This page is an interview with Yu Suzuki, the general manager of SEGA AM2 Research Department, titled Steps to the Future. He talks about AM2's approach to game development for the SEGA Saturn, emphasizing their goal to push the hardware's capabilities and create unique and enjoyable experiences. He mentions their work on
Virtua Cop, and Virtua Fighter 2, highlighting the effort to maximize the Saturn's potential. Suzuki also mentions the challenges of fully porting arcade games, but M2 aims to surpass simple ports and create high-quality software for home consoles. He discusses Virtua Cop and Virtua Fighter 2 as examples of achieving good results within the Saturn's hardware limitations. Additionally, there's a New Year's special project announcement for readers of SATURN Magazine from SEGA AM2. They are giving away special New Year's greeting cards to 300 lucky people. These cards are designed by the CG artist of Virtua Fighter 2. A page shows a screenshot from Virtua Fighter 2 on the Geishun stage featuring Kagemaru.
To apply, readers need to send in an application by November 30th. It mentions this is a premium New Year's gift only for 300 people and encourages readers to apply and send in comments with their application. This page delves into AM2's accomplishments in 1995. The month-by-month retrospective highlights key developments. In May, they developed a new OS, showcasing an early Virtua Fighter 2 demo and implementing the Saturn Graphics Library, SGL. July saw a report on SGL and the release of the Dancing Shadows music album. August finalized character CG port layouts for Virtua Fighter. September brought the releases of Virtua Cop 2 and Virtua Fighter 2.1. October announced the Virtua Fighter TV anime and hinted at Virtua Fighter Versus. November saw the debut of Fighting Vipers. AM2 delivered a steady stream of quality games and advancements for the Saturn, leaving fans eagerly anticipating more, including Virtua Fighter 3. There's also a new Christmas card announcement featuring Sarah Bryant. This page focuses on the stage design evolution for Virtua Fighter 3, titled Virtua Fighter 3 Road to It highlights how stages have progressed since the original Virtua Fighter. The article discusses the stage setting considerations, mentioning that in the initial Virtua Fighter, stages were designed with simple polygon backgrounds to prioritize character movement and processing. It explains that Virtua Fighter 2 significantly improved stage visuals, but for Virtua Fighter 3, the goal was to create even more detailed and varied stages. The page showcases screenshots of stages from Virtua Fighter 1, 2, and 3 to illustrate this evolution. It highlights 3 specific stage concepts for Virtua Fighter 3. A Maru stage, Shadow Circle stage, inspired by Kiyomizu Temple in Kyoto, emphasizing a Japanese aesthetic. Butu stage, Dancing Emperor stage, envisioned as a continuous arena with trees falling and rivers flowing, creating a dynamic environment. And Wolf stage, set in Canada, featuring pine trees and snow, designed to evoke a natural, cold atmosphere. The article also mentions that in Virtua Fighter 2, some stages were considered botchy and needed improvement. It briefly touches upon technical aspects such as polygon counts and the desire to push visual boundaries while ensuring smooth gameplay. Characters like Jackie and Gi are mentioned in relation to stage design evolution, suggesting they might be associated with specific stage examples. This page is a testament to Virtua Fighter 3's evolution, highlighting the CG Portrait series and character development. It mentions that the CG Portrait series is highly anticipated and focuses on creating high polygon characters for Virtua Fighter 3, suggesting a significant leap in visual fidelity. The page features the CG Portrait series for Wolf Hawkfield and Lao Chan, announcing it's going on sale December 8th. The article suggests that the developers are paying close attention to user feedback, especially concerning Wolf and Lao, aiming to create a series that fans will truly enjoy. They mention the design aspects of the CG portraits, with 2 designers working on the VF3 designs, focusing on fundamental elements like character sketching and poses to bring the 3 image to life. There's also a section discussing new characters for Virtua Fighter 3, indicating they are steadily being completed. The writer shares that 2 new characters' movements are being refined, emphasizing detailed adjustments to the 11 existing characters. They mention that while the background effects and overall atmosphere are being perfected, the most exciting aspect is the new female character, described as a tomboy type, contrasting with existing female characters. They are aiming to create a very different and appealing character type, ensuring she's enjoyable to play. They express confidence that the new characters, with their directionality and dynamic movements, will be captivating, urging readers to look forward to them. This page introduces Akira Yamanaka, the publicity section designer at AM2 Research,
marking his debut in the magazine. The article highlights his role in creating captivating CG visuals for AM2's games. Yamanaka explains that while he's involved in publicity design, his background is rooted in design and art, initially joining AM2 to work on game development. He mentions his transition to publicity design within AM2's 8th Research Department, where he utilizes his artistic skills for promotional materials. The article touches on his design philosophy, emphasizing the importance of impactful visuals, even with simple elements, as seen in his CG work for games like VirtuaCop. Yamanaka also discusses the balance between design work and hands-on CG creation in his daily routine, highlighting his dedication to both aspects of his role. He mentions that while designing, he often draws rough sketches and emphasizes the importance of focus and switching gears between tasks for maintaining creativity. The article concludes by mentioning upcoming promotional materials featuring his work for games like VirtuaCop and Virtua Fighter. This page explores the design process behind game development, specifically focusing on Akira Yamanaka, design chief for Virtua Cop 2. The interview reveals his design philosophy, which prioritizes impactful visuals even in basic designs, often starting with sketches and incorporating hands-on CG creation. Yamanaka emphasizes the significance of character placement, referencing posters for games like Golgo 13 and Mad Max. He also highlights the competitive nature of game design and the constant drive for visual improvement. The page features an image of a Virtua Cop character and offers a Fighting Vipers poster designed by Yamanaka in a giveaway. Additional content references the 95 Tokyo Toy Show, SEGA pamphlets featuring Yamanaka, and poster availability for Virtua Cop and Virtua Fighter 3. AM2's Express Neo newsletter, issue number 2, highlights news and events. VirtuaSurf is confirmed for the Saturn. They solicit fan feedback on snacks, desired CG conversions of non-AM2 SEGA games, and opinions on AM2 games and Express Neo itself. A Virtua Cop tournament is announced with unique prizes, alongside new product announcements for Polygon Junkie 3 and the Guardian Gun. A prize draw offers Virtua Fighter, 2 keyholders, and Virtua Fighter figures. A recruitment drive in collaboration with SATURN offers t-shirts and alpha goods. AM2 actively seeks player opinions on their work and future content, emphasizing direct feedback to shape future developments. This SEGA Saturn magazine review page highlights 2 games. Dragon Ball Z, The Legend, Shin Butoden, received mixed reviews. Lady users in Game Mania enjoyed the characters and special moves, scoring it a 6, but criticized the animation and backgrounds. Guest game writers, while acknowledging it as a compilation, found the gameplay unchanged, giving it a 5. X-Men, Children of the Atom, was praised universally. Lady users called it a fantastic arcade port with a 9 score. Game Mania highlighted Capcom's porting expertise, awarding an 8. Guest game writers were impressed by the visuals and arcade balance, scoring it a 7. X-Men, Children of the Atom is the clear winner, while Dragon Ball Z: The Legend received more lukewarm reception. The next page reviews 3 more titles for the Sega Saturn. First up is Moero Pro Yaku 95 Doubleheader, a baseball game. Lady users enjoyed the familiar series' feel and polished presentation, giving it a 6, but felt it was too similar to previous titles. High rollers thought it was okay, but felt the graphics were dated and the gameplay system standard, awarding it a 4. Guest writers saw it as a baseball card database in game form, and enjoyed the pitching/batting viewpoints and player callouts, scoring it a 5. Next is Kanazawa Shogi, a shogi or Japanese chess game. Lady users found it challenging and strategically deep, giving it a 7, but mentioned the AI could be quite strong. Game Mania also scored it a 7, highlighting the depth of strategic thinking required and its suitability for serious shogi players. Guest writers found it a solid shogi title, praising the CPU strength and gameplay, but thought the presentation was a bit lacking compared to other shogi games on the platform, scoring it a 5. Finally, Super Real Mahjong Graffiti, a mahjong game featuring anime girls. Lady users thought it was enjoyable and appreciated the visuals, giving it a 6. Game Mania scored it a 7, praising the improved visuals and sound from previous installments, and the overall presentation. Guest writers gave it an 8, emphasizing it was a solid mahjong title, with great visuals and presentation, suitable for newcomers to the series, highlighting these sexy elements as a bonus. This page reviews 4 SEGA Saturn games.
Shutoku Battle 94, a racing game, earned scores ranging from 5 to 7, with praise for its presentation, atmosphere, and intensity. Kakusei, Classmates, an adventure game, received scores between 5 and 7. Reviewers noted its engaging dialogue and improved anime-style graphics compared to the PS version, though some found it lacking depth. Gekuren Dangen Kamui, God's Might, a shooting game, scored from 6 to 9, with reviewers highlighting its easy controls, depth, polished graphics, and balanced gameplay. Eric's Virtua Fighter 2 received unanimous perfect scores of 10. Reviewers lauded its graphics, animation, controls, and new modes, calling it the definitive version and a must-have title.
This page features reviews for 4 games. First up is NBA Jam Tournament Edition, which reviewers felt was fun, especially with the over-the-top dunks using turbo, although graphically it felt a bit rough around the edges for a Saturn title, scoring around a 6 on average. Next is Hat Trick Hero S, a soccer game.
The reviewers pointed out the focus on the goalkeeper mechanics and the somewhat unrealistic ball physics.
Overall, it didn't quite hit the mark, receiving scores in the 4 to 5 range.
Then there's Quiz OU Ketaiban DX, a quiz game with a focus on the Kansai region. Reviewers found the questions funny and engaging, particularly if you're familiar with Kansai culture, scoring between 5 and 6. Finally, there's a section about a Kansai Area Limited software game, though the title isn't clearly visible. This one seems to be steeped in local Kansai jokes and references, possibly being difficult to understand for outsiders. Despite some gameplay issues, it surprisingly got a score of 6, perhaps due to its regional appeal. This text summarizes several video game reviews.
Bug Bunbuku Jumpu
is previewed as a fun action game for kids. Reviews include a simple tile-based game with enjoyable graphics and a refreshing jumping mechanic, score 6, and a polygon maze game with good music and engaging jumping gameplay, score 6. Chibi Maruko-chan's Typhoon Mayhem is a highly enjoyable puzzle game with cute characters and combos, score 8. A Saturn action game with a bug theme offers refreshing action and cute enemies, score 7. A game with live-action video and jigsaw puzzles is found interesting, score 6. A puzzle bobble-style game is easy to play and enjoyable for families, score 7. Finally, a Kaneko-themed jigsaw puzzle game has merit despite tricky placement, score 7. This page dives into secret techniques for a couple of games. First up is Hangen GP95, and it reveals how to unlock hidden courses. Apparently, from the options screen you hit B, go back to the mode select, and then input RRRLRR, boom! Suddenly, courses 4 through 6 become selectable on the course select screen, which are normally hidden. They also detail how to unlock endurance mode in Hang-On GP95. During the advertisement demo, you need to punch in up, down, right, left, then all at once hit X, Y, and Z buttons. If done right, endurance mode will magically appear in the mode select screen, even if you haven't met the usual conditions to unlock it. Then there's Tokimeki Mahjong Paradise, Koi no Tenpai Beat, which shows you how to access a visual select mode. On the title screen, you need to quickly input up, left, down, down, right, right, left, right, A, B, circa. If you hear a sonnet sound, you've done it correctly. Head to the options, and a new Memories item will be there, letting you view all the character visuals freely, which you can then choose using the right directional button. This page dives deeper into hidden game features. First, for Tokimeki Mahjong Paradise, Koi no Tenpai Beat, they reveal how to manually control the reach window, which seems to be related to calling reach in Mahjong. Apparently, on the title screen you input up, down, right, left, up, then press the X and Z buttons simultaneously. If successful, you can then bring up the reach window during gameplay using the B button. Next, for Virtua Fighter on the 32X, there's a cheat to play as Dural outside of ranking mode. When you are on the character select screen and highlight Akira, you need to press right, left, right, left, right, right, right on the directional pad. This unlocks Dural for use in other modes, and it works for player 2 as well. Lastly, for Metal Fighter Miku, they explain how to access a test mode. Start by going to the options menu, select message type, and change it to characters. Then, hold down the L and R buttons and press X. Next, navigate to the Content Input menu, select Exit, and again press L and R together. Finally, press Start. This should take you into the test mode. At the bottom of the page, there's a Super Technique Grand Prizes announcement, inviting readers to send in their secret techniques for SEGA Saturn, 32X, Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear games to win prizes like Saturn software and gift certificates. This page showcases a special giveaway for readers of SEGA Saturn Magazine, celebrating its launch. There's a fantastic lineup of prizes up for grabs, with multiple units of each item. The grand prize is, of course, a SEGA Saturn console itself, with 3 available. Game-related goodies are plentiful. 2 lucky readers can snag a copy of the Dancing Shadows CD, and another 3 can get a Dancing Shadows t-shirt. For Virtua Fighter fans, there's a VF2 sports towel and a Virtua Striker sports towel. If you need to carry your Saturn around in style, there's even a SEGA Saturn branded bag. And to enjoy your morning coffee in gaming style, a SEGA Saturn mug is also on offer. Moving beyond SEGA-specific items, acclaimed fans can win original t-shirts and badges. There's also a cool Final Romance 2 alarm clock for those who like their mornings game-themed. Retro arcade fans might be interested in the Thunderstorm and Road Blaster material collection. Poster collectors can aim for KOF 95 X-Men or Quo Vadis posters. For those into Japanese idols, there's a Hara Hara Yumi telecard. Strategy game enthusiasts can win a set of Nobunaga's Ambition, Tenka Fubu, and Rebellion games. Bookworms might enjoy the Datana Twinbee Yahoo! Deluxe Pack book. And finally, for wristwear, there's a Rayman watch up for grabs. It's a diverse and appealing collection of prizes for SEGA fans and gamers in general. This page details the Reader Prize winners for the November issue, and also gives more information about how to apply for these giveaways. First up, the application guidelines explain that, to enter, you need to answer the questionnaire on the provided postcard and send it in. The deadline for entries is November 24th. Winners will be announced in the February 9th issue. The prize list for this issue is extensive. 20 lucky readers can win SEGA Saturn-compatible software. Sounds intriguing, but the specifics are kept vague. For other prizes, 5 people can get a Treasure Hunter Lime Uchiwa fan, and another 2 can get a Treasure Hunter Lime autograph poster, possibly signed by the voice actors. Moving on, 5 winners will receive Bomberman Panama Super Bean bags. These sound like fun, quirky Bomberman-themed cushions. For those looking for wall art, 3 people can win a marriage poster, and a single person will receive a rare Virtua Fighter 2 prize figure. Looking at the magazine information, it confirms SEGA Saturn Magazine is released on the 2nd and 4th Friday of every month. The next issue will be out on December 8th. There's a contact number provided for inquiries about the magazine's content, but they specifically state they won't answer questions about game hints or cheats. Finally, there's a staff list, including various roles like editor-in-chief, editors, writers, layout, and photography. This page showcases the Hyper 3D fighting battle game, G-Bockers, for the SEGA Saturn. It's described as a new type of action shooting game set across 8 3D fields. The text emphasizes the command input style, allowing for diverse attacks, and the exciting kakehiki, or mind games, with opponents, promising battles where you can't afford to blink. The game is priced at 5,800 yen, excluding tax, and was slated for release on February 23, 1996, a Friday. Visually, the page features a comical image of someone completely wrapped in bandages, falling out of a hospital bed, seemingly reacting to the game's intense action. Below the text and release information, you can see a lineup of cute, cartoonish characters that appear to be the fighters in G-Bockers. This page presents a humorous take on gaming addiction, showing a person completely bandaged and seemingly in a hospital bed, still intensely playing G-Bockers. We see 2 monitors, one displaying a won screen and the other a lost screen, suggesting they are deeply engrossed in the game despite their condition. The large Japanese text on the right side humorously encourages this behavior, saying, "Keep playing like that forever." It's a comical visual representation of the game's addictive nature, building on the previous page's description of intense battles and mind games in G-Bockers, implying players might get so hooked they'd even play through injuries. At the bottom, there's company information for Riverhill Soft, but the main focus is definitely on the humorous image and tagline related to the game. This page is all about the exciting new SEGA Saturn release of Virtua Cop,
a groundbreaking 3D gun shooting game. The page highlights it as the world's first real 3D polygon gun shooting game for home consoles, and emphasizes how realistic and exhilarating it is. It's promoting the game alongside the Virtua gun, the dedicated light gun peripheral, calling it the real deal with a black body. The advert shows cool screenshots of the gameplay, and features like a training mode and two-player versus mode. It mentions the game's beautiful graphics and fast-paced action, promising an immersive experience that goes beyond just playing games. There's also info on pricing, with the VirtuaCop game and gun set costing 7,800 yen, the standalone VirtuaCop game at 5,800 yen, and the Virtua gun sold separately for 2,900 yen. Overall, this page is hyping up VirtuaCop as a must-have title for Sega Saturn owners looking for thrilling shooting action.